Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Empower Hour. My name's Kevin Connect right here in, where the heck are we anyway? In St. Pete, Florida here. Welcome to the Empower Hour. This is a little overwhelming. I'm looking at names like Ashley and David and Chuck and Tony and Melissa and Jessica all right here. We're here at the Leaders Retreat here. This is the retreat from St. Pete right here, getting ready for we're scheming here. We're schemers here for the Austin event, January 18. Go get your ticket right now. If you haven't gotten your ticket, you probably know about our event. We're all going to release our inner badass. And let's just say when you get a room with co-founders David Sharp, David Wood, and we start talking about what can we really do to release our inner badass, the minds start working. It's just really hysterical. So you guys, if you haven't gotten your ticket, go in your back office right now. Just do it, right? And we're going to have a blast. And how many days is that? It's like 31 days away, so it's 35, I don't know. So, and look at that. Chris Record just walked in. Peter, so, we've got so many people. This is awesome. So I know some of you guys are like, what the heck is this? What call did I dial in tonight? I'm missing Monday Night Football. Why am I here? So you are here to be part of, how much money have we made now here in Empower? I think over $20 million. 13 months in, gosh, look at the leaderboard right now and just look at all the badasses who are just having fun in life. And my wife Melissa and I must say that a year ago we were on one of these calls just by accident and thinking, oh, this thing's not real. It's not going to work. I mean, these guys, it looks good. I think it's going to be like a ClickBank thing. My friend Tony Rush said, like, I think we're going to make a couple $100 here. But here we are now, and I don't know. I'm just kind of talking here. We're having some fun here. Melissa and I have generated over 6 figures here in a very short period of time here. And I thought we were smart, but then we get in a room full of guys like all these guys around me right now, and I feel like it's great because like when you become a leader, you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. So I feel like the dumbest guy in the room right now, which is pretty awesome. So if you guys are feeling that way right now, you're definitely in the right place. If you're the smartest guy in the room where you are right now, then well, I don't even know what to say about that. So, see, this is what it's all about here. So, we're having a great retreat, leaders retreat here in St. Pete, Florida here. So, again, get your tickets. And by the way, special shout out to David Sharp, who's being a super dad right now. His daughter turns 13 today. So,
happy birthday,
Bailey, happy birthday. I know you're not listening to the call, but if for some reason you are, then enjoy your birthday. We all love you, and it is great when you can be a dad in life, and certainly I've had that come into my life here in the past year. We've got our 23-year-old, a 19-year-old, and 12-year-old, and thank you, David and David, from the bottom of our hearts, seriously. I mean, last year at this time, we were pulling the ripcord on our financial disaster, or as Tony Rush called it, the financial ditch. He's always got a way with words. I mean, he comes up with the best words for, like, anything. And, here are some things that you learn in Empower Network, by the way. You can have this incredible story of how to make things so simple. And here's what Tony Rush will tell you. He's talking about this guy named Bubba today. It was just like the best. Wasn't it like the best story? I mean, we were all like, I took this picture, by the way, Tony. Tony's here in the room right now. And he didn't even know I took the picture. But, like, everybody is staring at Tony like this is like the greatest story ever. And it's about a guy named Bubba. But it was so profound. And these little things that happen at events when you get around a group of leaders. So right now, if you're craving that in life, if you're, like, coming home from work tonight, or maybe you're listening to this on a recording late, like maybe it's like 3 in the morning and you're like, I need some changes coming up in 2013. The best thing to do right now, seriously, is to align yourself with people who are having the results, keeping it simple, and they're going to just show you how to do it. They're going to open their playbooks, and you're going to realize just how simple it can be. So if you're on this call right now, I talk about this with our team every morning. My wife Melissa and I, and we co-host with some of our other team leaders. We do a call with our team, and we talk about how to get your first 25 and 24. Keep it real simple, guys. Get in your back office right now. Go through those 8 core principles, fast start training. Some of you guys are listening. You're like, I don't know what to do, Kevin. Just tell me what to do. Go log in right now. Go send out a link to your Facebook friends. Go do something, and tomorrow morning wake up with a sale in your back pocket. And then do the same thing the next day, and the next day, and the next day. That's all it is. You can have a 90-day plan here, and the 90-day plan, get this, the 90-day plan is like the same plan every day. And what do? Go through those 8 core principles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wash, rinse, and repeat. That was probably the most profound moment we learned here in the leadership retreat today. At least I did. I don't know. Maybe Everybody's kind of staring at me in the room. This is kind of comical. And I think everybody's kind of saying, boy, I'm glad Kevin's doing the call and I'm taking the night off, man. Is that what it's going on right now?
Now you're doing the whole call and we're just going to sit here for
yeah.
till it's done.
Yeah.
These are 3 hours, by the way.
Yeah, these calls are about 3 hours. Yeah, it's pretty hysterical. So if there's any message I can share with you guys tonight is that, you know, you already have all of the tools to be successful here. Just plug and play. You know, what I've really gotten here with Empower is that you can be yourself here. See, for years I thought I had to be the shirt and tie guy. You know, I had to be real professional, not swear, and make people happy and all that stuff. And instead of just being myself, you know, I worked for years in radio advertising sales, and before that I was a disc jockey. And you know, on air I was told what not to say all the time. And when you're told what not to say, you're just afraid to be yourself all the time. And when you can come to a community like this and just be around a bunch of badasses who just live it, I'm looking at David Wood right now, and he's practically like, anyway, he's naked, yeah, practically naked. I mean, he's sitting here with his legs kind of spread. I'm like, man, I hope those pants are zipped up over there. But, you know, it's just the funniest things happen when you can really be yourself in this business. And I guess here's the thing. I said that like about 12 times. Melissa will tell me after the call, you said this, this, and this like 10,000 times, right? Just go? Yes. Okay. But I keep coming around to how simple this can be. So, guys, I don't know what else to tell you except for just get all in. You know, get into the products. Get into figuring out where you want to be in 2013. You know, Melissa and I, when we got onto these calls, when we got serious with this business, when we started back in March, and we got to our first event, we were in Atlanta, Georgia, in June. I don't even remember the name of the event, but it was awesome. Don't be a wussy. Yeah. So I had to not be a wussy and tell Melissa, first of all, because I joined this business without telling her. So I had to actually own that. And look at this. Right now, I'm looking at Tony and Jessica are talking to Easton Rush on FaceTime. Hi, Easton. Are you listening on there? Easton's waving at me. Easton's like the coolest little guy. Okay. So when we got started here, we finally got serious about where we wanted to be. We had a total 100% certainty in this business because we got to the Atlanta event. And of course, some of you guys know Melissa and I went home with our intention. We got to work. We followed the 8 core principles, and we got one of those big old checks on stage at the very next event. So I know there's somebody right now who is sitting in the audience right now listening to this call saying, I want to get one of those checks. So how do you do that? Well, you got to get to the event, first off. You got to make a commitment right now. So go in the back office, click the add to cart, then go online, go to Orbitz.com or someplace like that and buy your airline ticket and just get there. I mean, you can buy now, pay later, all that kind of stuff, whatever you have to do. Melissa and I actually couldn't even afford to get all in when we started Empower. I mean, it's crazy. I'm 42 years old. I mean, I didn't even have the money to get all in here in Empower. It's not a lot of money either. But, you know, if you're an adult listening right now, if you're over the age of 25 and you don't have $10,000 available for like a family emergency, I mean, what is it? You watch Susie Orman on CNBC and she tells you you ought to have 9 months of savings. Most people don't even have 9 days of savings. And, you know, I had to face that in my 40s with kids who were practically grown, realizing that off and on throughout my being a dad for almost 20 years that I didn't have the money. I was not doing the job. So if I could get serious here with you guys a little bit, I just want to tell you it's okay to fire yourself tonight before you go to sleep and say no longer, never again. But you've got to take that first step. You've got to put yourself in front of people who are going to take a stand for your greatness once and for all. No more excuses. Stop being a wussy. Just like the first time when you watched David and David on that video. You got to take a stand. You got to have a 13-year-old stand in front of you and tell you to stop being a wussy. Maybe that's what it takes. I'm not sure. But for all you parents and grandparents out there, I'll tell you what. The holidays are here, right? You know, if you're not playing full, if you're not playing big this holiday season, it kicks you in the gut. I mean, when the kids tell you, hey, I want this, I want that. Last year at this time, Melissa and I had to face that. And it was painful. It was awful. It was one of the most humiliating things I ever had to go through as an adult. And I'm here to say that when you get around a bunch of people who have messed up, and I think everybody in this room right now has messed up at one point or another, maybe except for my wife, Melissa. Everybody's messed up. So if you're listening right now, say, yeah, Kevin, yeah, I messed up. You know what? That's cool. That's okay. Own that. Broadcast it to the world. You want to have some relief in life? Put it on your Facebook update. You know, if you filed a bankruptcy like we did, put it on your Facebook update. You'll probably, I swear, since Melissa and I told our story on the Inner Circle a couple of weeks ago, we've gotten hundreds, and I mean hundreds of Skypes, Facebook, private messages, emails, thanking us for sharing our story. I mean, it is really, it's really the most amazing thing to be able to be clean and, you know, not have to pretend to be somebody else. I mean, it would be cool for me to pretend to be Tony Rush, but I'm not. You know, like Tony Rush is Tony Rush. I'll just be the best Kevin Connect, you know. But everybody has their story, and everybody has something that they wish they hadn't have done. And here at Empower Network, like nothing I've ever seen, when you get around David Wood and David Sharp and realize these guys have laid it all out in the line, I mean, they are an open book about who they are, what they believe in, and, you know, they've been through the ringer too with, you know, some of you guys have been in network marketing for years. And maybe you've been around company owners who haven't been totally have integrity, or told you the whole story. Or they can't relate with your situation because maybe they're in this, you know, this box somewhere that you can't relate with. But here, you can really be yourself. You can really once and for all play big in life and live life on your terms. But you've got to make a decision right now that this is going to be the moment in time that you're going to stop playing small and start playing big, and to make that a normal thing. It's going to become a normal thing to wake up and realize, hey, I can go on vacation with my wife next month because, you know, we've got the kids handled, I don't have a job anymore, and, you know, we just like to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Or, you know, Melissa and I like to, you know, we're starting to look at, like, Travel Zoo and places like that, like, hey, you can go away on this little vacation here next Friday. And like, oh, we can do that now. We couldn't do that 6 months ago. And things can change very quickly here when you're around people who will take a stand for your greatness. And maybe it's the first time that somebody will take a stand for your greatness. Maybe somebody will appreciate the big thoughts that you've put on ice for 20 years because you've gotten so tied down day to day. You know, I'm thinking about growing up in Pennsylvania this time of year where it gets cold and it's rainy and it's dreary and you're like so stuck in a rut this time of year. And I realized, man, you know, I'm around the biggest bunch of badasses here in Florida here where it's nice and warm. And, you know, we could just get on a plane yesterday and come down for, you know, we were kind of kidding today during our leadership retreat. You know, I think Tony had said something about, hey, we're here for the weekend. It's like, dude, it's Monday. Yeah, it's, you know, we lose track of the days. Every day is a weekend. And shout out to my friend Sam out there who's every day is Saturday. You know, every day is Saturday when you can live life on your terms. And, you know, I've just gotten clear that for a lot of years, Melissa and I have had a lot of dreams. We wanted to play big. And we've kind of been afraid to do that because maybe we were wrong to think that way, or maybe there were not enough people around us who were actually doing that. But here at Empower Network, boy, it seems like every time we turn around, there's another leader who just had their first $1,000 day, their first $10,000 week, their first $30,000 month. And, you know, it's just, even on our personal team, I mean, I can think of all the people on our personal team that have made their first sales here with Empower, who maybe have followed us in other home businesses. And this is not our first rodeo. And we've had people who have had their breakthroughs. And, boy, I'll tell you what, if you have a team member right now who made their first $25 sale, that is like the best feeling in the world. And capture that. Put it on video. Get on YouTube. Share your story. Go out in front of your house. Start yelling at your neighbors. I just made my first $25 sale, whatever you have to do, right? Because people will remember that, and when you can share that enthusiasm in the moment, that's when the authenticity shines through. When you put that on YouTube, man, I love seeing those videos, and I love seeing people on Facebook when they just made their first breakthrough, because that is the energy that I want to capture if maybe I'm not having the best day. But when I see that every day when I tune in, you know, when I go into the Empower back office and I look at the leaderboard, and I see the people who are rising up on the leaderboard, I'll go look them up on Facebook, and you know, it's pretty awesome to see people in action, having fun, having results, because that's what drove Melissa and I our first 90 days. When we were here, we were kind of like, yeah, I think this will work, you know. But, you know, I got jazzed every day by just seeing that, hey, there's Tony and Jessica coming up the ranks, you know, our sponsors. And I, you know, so who's this Chuck Marshall guy? I mean, I want to meet him at the next event. You know, he's somebody having results. And, you know, like seeing who had, you know, at our first event, you know, I was making a calculated attempt to say, oh, this is the person I want to meet, this is the person I want to meet, this person. So right now, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but everybody online ought to be scheming. If you're brand new here to Empower Network, is go look at that leaderboard. First off, get yourself on there it's 25 points to get your name on the leaderboard, and you can do that right now. 2 plus 1 today, sell a ticket, get somebody all in, you get like 140 points in a day. So you can show up on the leaderboard and get to the top 200, and then get in the top 30 and get yourself one of those white sofas like we had at the last event. Those were so badass, by the way. I don't know who thought of that idea, but sitting on the white sofas in the front, that was so super sweet, man. That was so awesome. So anybody can get started in Empower right now and play the game 2 plus 1. You want to get on the leaderboard, or you want to rise up the leaderboard fast? 2 plus 1. Get through a day, sell a conference ticket. You got 100 points in the contest. And look at that right now, guys. And also make a plan. You know, write down those names. Hey, man, there's nothing more that I want to do is to meet Chris Record and thank him for all those tips I got on the first 3, 4, or 5 15K formulas. I mean, total badassery. You know, like honestly, Melissa and I, we've made our first 6 figures here without doing any of those cool things that we learned on the last several weeks. So thank you, Chris, for that. And you know, there's so many things to do before the event. Now is the time to create your story. Create your story here over the next 30 days and get edified by one of the leaders on stage here at the next event. And then you can have your YouTube channel in place, get everything in place so you can go home. Think about this. What if you go home in January from the next event in about 40 days from now, and over the next 90 days until we have the next event, you become a top earner here making $20,000 to $40,000 a month. How about that for starting 2013? How does that sound? That's exactly what's available here for you right now. If you will take action right now, you know, a bunch of wussies out there are going to wait till January 1, 2013 to set their intentions for the year. But the leaders right now, the leaders are setting their intentions right now for 2013. That's why we're here in Florida right now. That's why the top 25 earners are here putting together the event for 2013 and playing a whole bigger game here in Empower. You think it's big now. I'll tell you what, guys. You haven't seen anything yet. What David and David are putting together right now with this mastermind team, the ideas that are flowing on the whiteboard and being implemented here with the staff in place. You got pictures of the whiteboard, Tony? Are we going to put them on Facebook? Yeah, we'll sell them on eBay, right? It'll be a whole new funnel. It'll be the whiteboardfunnel.com or something, right? Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you what, I could talk all night here. You know, we have this whole room of badasseries here, so I don't know. Somebody want to?
Actually, hold on. Let me. Hey, this is Dave Wood, folks. Here, let me sit in between you guys here real quick. I'm going to sit next to Kevin and Melissa, folks. Great, by the way, talking to everybody here at Empower Network all over the world. You know, every week we have people dial into this call from, you know, sometimes we have like 30, 40 countries on the call. You know, you look at the phone numbers on this thing. We got people on Skype. We got people in the UK staying up till 4 in the morning. And we're all here united in purpose. We've all got different dreams and goals, but we all see a vision here with what we're doing at Empower. What I want to do for a second, first of all, thanks for introducing the call, Kevin, is I want to edify you guys. You guys are doing an incredible job. You know, Kevin and Melissa just volunteer their time freely to help with whatever we need help with. They've got a great team moving. They've got people in their team that are succeeding. But more importantly, they're committed. They're committed to their vision. What I want to point out, though, you know, they talk a little bit about struggling and not being able to get all in. And I know you shared your story and, you know, the inner circle and everything like this. But I want to ask you some questions and use some questions here. And I actually don't know you guys' full story, but I want, guys, we were talking today about the structure of breakthroughs, right? How to create breakthroughs for people, how people have breakthroughs, the process that we need to go through to have, you know, to really create a decision emotionally that can change your life to get you where you want to go. We were talking about the whole structure, and we were talking about what happened to you. Mm-hmm. So now one of you guys bought into Empower without the other one knowing. Who was it that bought into it? Was it you?
Yeah, I bought into Empower, and Melissa was actually away, so I was able to do that for a few days. And she came home and kind of found out I spent the rent money.
How much did you spend at the time? Was it you just bought all in?
Yeah, we bought up to $500, I think, and then you know, then she found out about it.
And that was the rent money.
Yeah.
So in other words, that was the money for rent. And did you have money to pay rent after you did that?
No, we had to make some sales. I've kind of put my feet into the fire, figuring, well, I'll turn around and make some sales.
And that was when?
March 21st.
So March 21st, when you found out that he – oh, put it a little closer. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. We'll put the phone closer. So when you found out that he spent the rent money to get into a business, how'd you react? I actually don't know what she's going to say. So honest, seriously.
Well, seeing as we were coming out of a business that I was done in network marketing, period. By then, I was to a point where I was so burnt out that I was.
What were you burnt out from? I'm curious.
We were doing top tier, and just the fact that we were working much harder than we do here, and giving of our time to leadership like we do here without any of the results, and without any company owners who appreciated us like you guys have. But we were just to a point where it was like, how many times can we do this? Because that wasn't the first thing we'd done. I mean, we'd done several things, and I came home actually from my nephew's funeral. It was a really tough place for me to be emotionally. Soon after that, my family absolutely blew up. I mean, long story short, it created a place in my life where everything had changed for me. And if you listen to our story on the Inner Circle, just a few months previous, we had gone through a bankruptcy. Everything was changing. Absolutely everything was changing, and it was almost like I didn't know what the who am I almost anymore, and what is it that I'm gonna do? And it's great. It's one thing to go through all of this, and it's just you and maybe a spouse, but when you have kids, I mean, it's really a lot. And so when I came home and I saw that Kevin had done this, but I'm telling you, I mean, I don't know, I've heard that before, but I'm telling you. And but I think I was in a place where I was almost so defeated that I honestly, I don't know. I put up a little bit of a fuss, but I think that I was in such a defeated place that it was almost like, okay, great, all right, I'll look at it. And I finally, when I actually did go through and really understand what was happening, and my eyes kind of got opened, it really made a lot of sense. And because of what I had gone through personally, what I had just come off of, I found something that I could totally pour myself into now, and this was going to be my direction. And we started seeing results right away. I mean, before Atlanta, I think we had made, I think we had made like $15,000, $18,000, something like that. But we were so far behind that I think we showed up with $500 in our pocket. And so it was a big deal in San Diego to stand on stage and know that even, we had made a decent amount of money, but that our bank account was sitting at $35,000. Coming out of bankruptcy where you have to get your account down to $100, that was a big deal. And to start to normalize that you were only going to go up from there. So
real quick, and I just want to clarify this here for a second for everybody on the line. So you went to the first event that you went to, and you had made some money in Empower Network at the first event, right? You'd been in for a month or two, right? And you guys had just been working, right? And you did that from spending your rent money to get in, right? So you spent your rent money to get in. You got in, you made some money, but you had like $500 your name. In June? In Atlanta. In June 8th through 10th, we did that in Atlanta. Now, 3 months later, September 18th through 20th, so we're talking just over 3 months, I think it's like 3 months and 8 days. You're talking 3 months later, in addition to spending the money on your marketing, in addition to spending the money to get to the event, in addition to paying for your hotel, you had $35,000 in cash sitting in your checking account from money that you had made at Empower Network from that business that your husband joined when you were away.
Yes.
So that's just to clarify.
Yes, Dave, that is correct.
Okay. So guys, here's what I want to point out is it doesn't matter where you're at right now. You can get where you want to go, but you've got to make a decision. Now, here's a question for you. Now, you'd made some money when you came to the first event. How much have you made total in Empower Network now, Kevin? Do you know?
124,000.
124,000 since March, since April, How did you do that? There's a lot of people on the call, they say, okay, I'm broke too. You know what I mean? We've all been, we're like, hey, I'm broke too. I relate to this guy. There's also some bald guys on the call that can, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
The Chris Dart. I say you don't have to be bald to get rich in Empower Network. We've got a couple though who are. But anyways, I'm teasing.
Yeah.
So you came with, how did you do it? What did you do, okay, to make $124,000 since April?
Yeah.
Right? April from broke with no money. So you didn't spend a lot of money on advertising.
No, we did a lot, just social media on Facebook. I mean, whatever I could post, post a link a couple times a day, beat up my friends on Facebook. And, you know, over time, Facebook is great because if you're broke, you probably have time. You know, let's face it, most broke people have time. So, I mean, let's just be honest here, right? So, get on your dang Facebook account and start posting your link. Yeah, because, you know, we've been in network marketing for years, but we never used Aweber, never got the tools to set up and save our leads or anything like that. We were just churning and burning and just like one and done with our leads, which is so stupid. So if you're doing that, stop doing that.
So you didn't have a big old internet marketing list that you know, you were just like, okay, I'm going to slam these people. You had nothing when you started.
Correct.
No money, no list, never marketed online before, nothing.
No,
I just want to be clear for everybody on the call, because people get mad. You know, you got to be a big list to do Empower Network. Of course, that guy's rich. He had a big. Of course, Kevin Connect. He had a huge list, right?
No, the list. Yeah, the list was from the creditors. Like that was the list. That was the list.
You had a list of creditors that had your name on a list.
That's about right. Yeah. So yeah, we just said, you know, I just spent every morning hour, every afternoon, every evening, every available minute just posting links. You know, we made our first $25 and like, woohoo, we made our first 25, we made our first 100. You know, taking those little celebrations each day as we would have results and just edifying the heck out of other leaders. You know, Tracy Walker, we were following, like posting her results, and Tony and Jessica had their first $30,000 month that month when we joined, so we were, of course, edifying them and basically, you know, edifying the other leaders. You know, Lawrence Tam was right there. It was like, man, this guy's, you know, pretty smart and all that. You know, like whatever we could do to.
Before we even had results, we were talking about that stuff.
Yeah, you always got to, you know, you don't have to have results first, but if you're smart, you surround yourself with smarter people. So we were smart enough to figure that out. And like, you know, I mean, like I said at the top of the call, you want to be the dumbest guy in the room. And let's face it, when you start, you are, and that's great because you are relatable. When you make your first $100, don't celebrate that because people who are watching you on Facebook or on Twitter or, you know, they can relate to that. They can relate to the new guy making $100 in his first week. Maybe they can't relate to somebody making $118,000 in a month and be like, I can't even fathom that. But anybody can relate to, well, I can make $100 by next week. Well, sure, so sign me up for that. So, you know, one of the things that I was just talking to our sponsors, Tony and Jessica, about this recently, we were talking about this, is that, you know, when you put out those emails and say, hey, how about if you can show people how to make an extra $100 to $300 a day, I mean, that brings one spouse home from a job. You know, you think about the hours out of the house, you know, 40, 50, 60 hours. I mean, let's face it, if I went out and got a job today, I'd work for like $10 an hour. I'd be, you know, I'd make like $200 a week or something like that after taxes and all that. So, you know, if I just spent the time at home making $100 to $200 a day, you can do that here at Empower Network, even on Sweat Equity. If you had to sit in front of your computer for 8 hours a day and just, you know, send out emails and do whatever you had to do, anybody can do that. But the other advice that I heard early on was just focus on one day at a time. Like today, I mean, what if you knew that in the next 24 hours, you could do it under faith or fear. Like, if you don't make a sale in the next 24 hours, you don't have somebody buy the blogging system for $25, they're going to come, you know, take your kid. I don't know, like something awful. You know, like, I don't know. But everybody would do it, right? I mean, it's like if somebody came to the door and they're going to, like, you know, they're going to take your wife, Kevin. Your wife's going to divorce you if you don't make a sale in 24 hours. Damn it, I'm going to find a way to make a sale in 24 hours. And if everybody just adopted that belief that within 24 hours I can accomplish one sale, I mean, of course. And then, all right, so I do that today. Well, do that again tomorrow. And that's where the 8 core principles come from, and that's what Melissa and I focused on, was one day at a time. I couldn't see when we started making $20,000 in a month or even in a week or having a $5,000 a day, but I could see that I could follow those 8 core principles today and post a blog, post some ads, you know, read and, you know, write about that and all the steps in there. I could focus on that today. What can I do today? And then tomorrow, okay, do the same thing. And I know the people who are having results here, they focus on one day at a time. Well, let's focus on the 8 principles like you talk about, 2 a day. Well, let's start with 1 a day. Get good at that first. And then when you get good at 1 a day, then let's up the ante to 2 a day.
Well, here's the last question I've got for you. Great words of wisdom, by the way, is focus on a day at a time. Last question I've got for you, and I'll ask both of you. Had you not gone to that event in June, had you not gone? Had you said, well, you know, I'm broke. I only have $500 in my checking account. I'm going to stay home and weenie out. You know, I'm not going to go, right? I would go, but, you know, I'm broke, right? Well, you guys could have said that because you were broke. Yeah, I mean, you were broke, right? We're not talking about some theoretical thing because you were broke when you went to the event, right? You stretched to go with no money when you showed up. You know, you got home with $500. Yeah. But had you not gone, would it have been possible for you to make $124,000? What were your thoughts?
Well, you know, there's a level of belief by being at home and, you know, listening to these calls and watching the videos and all that. But you know, let's face it, you and Dave Sharp are a little different than the average company owners. So I mean, I honestly, I think.
Have you ever been in a company where the F-bombs dropped in the sales video before?
Exactly. I mean, I think you guys are hysterical. I mean, I watch all your videos and I'm like, you know, people watch these dang webinars for like 3 hours at a time. It's like they all stay on. It's like, it reminded me in radio, like years ago, it was like the Howard Stern effect. Like people keep coming back to find out what you guys are going to say next. But then I thought, well, all right, can these guys make this work? I mean, you know, anybody can make it work for 6 months, I suppose. But, you know, Melissa, she was like, all right, we're going to go to this thing. We're going to make sure these guys are the real deal. And honestly, that's what we were there to see that. And, Melissa wants to talk about this.
Yeah. Now, for what it was for me was we'd seen some results. Yeah, we had made some money, and I could see that certainly Tony and Jessica, who we, you know, trusted because they were personal friends, I could see their results, and all of that is logical, right? I could see the plan mapped out, and even though we had made some money, all of it was logic. It was all in my head. But for me, Atlanta was about making that emotional connection. I totally crossed over a plane. Something happened, and I had this paradigm shift in Atlanta where I was emotionally all in. I mean, we were all in financially then, but that's where I became emotionally all in, and that's what changed. It was such a shift that happened at that event that it was I was able to then go that week. We went home and just tore it up. I mean, because there was no question after that. There was absolutely no nagging doubts, no what ifs, no nothing, because we had experienced it firsthand. It was now all about just moving forward. There was no great guy on our team. He says that constantly. Hey, Mark, you know, just keep moving forward. That's all it was. We only saw ahead of us, not what if, what if, what if. And that emotional connection that you get at the events, that is killer. That is the key.
So you want to say something else, Kev? You had something else to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, we went home and we had a goal. Like at the event, we were crazy. We were just like, you know, we were up there in Atlanta, and we were like, hey, this was kind of cool. When we were living in Phoenix at the time, we were looking for a place to live, and we were like, what if we moved to Atlanta in 90 days and had the money to do it? So we figured out, well, if we make about $60,000, we'll have plenty of money to move for us. That was the goal for us. And we got a check, and it was just about $60,000. So, I mean, all summer long, it was that white-hot burning desire, just like what you teach on video 1 of the 15K formula, which, by the way, if you don't have the 15K formula, video 1, that 2 hours that you did was like, you know, Melissa and I have been in personal development for so many years. That was like the best badass training, you know, to help people focus on setting an intention. And you sharing your intention right there is what most trainers don't do. They'll teach it, but they won't share from the heart what's really going on. Like, so for you to share your numbers and like, this is what Ashley and I see for ourselves in 90 days, I was like, man, that is badass. I mean, that is leadership personified, because you guys are, and see, that's the thing. That's the intangible here with Empower Network that we got from being in Atlanta. We got to see you guys from stage just with your hearts. And, you know, like even in that first video, the 15K formula, you're right there saying, all right, guys, I'm going to teach this, but this is what I'm doing. So if you want to play along, then, you know, come up to my level. So you're just, you know, doing it. And so why can't we do it as well? You're not asking us to do anything that we didn't already have to go through. And that's the intangible here with Empower Network that I've not seen in all the years of network marketing. I think everybody in this room who, I don't know how many hundreds of years if we go around the room and add it all up here, but we got a lot. And something here is that when the owners of the company are the marketers who are setting the pace and not asking us to do anything they haven't already experienced, they're using the same funnel, the same capture pages, the same message, the same, you know, strategies, the same 8 core principles. And Dave are only asking us to do 2 a day, and they're doing 5 to 8 a day, but they don't really brag about that. So I'll brag on you for you guys. You know, 5, 8 a day, 10 a day, and then, you know, Can I say something else about this? Video 1 of the 15K formula, you actually show your back office. So guys like me and probably a few other here are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to look there. He really does have that many people in his back office. Holy shit, it's really there, you know? He's not making this stuff up. So that was really awesome. I mean, all those little intangibles are just so incredible. So back to you.
Hey, no, you guys are awesome. So, hey, everybody give these guys a hand. We got people in here. So with that. Hey, Tony and Jessica, can I talk to you? Can you guys switch? Tony and Jessica, can you guys come up and hang out? So what I want to do is I'm going to bring up Tony and Jessica here real quick. You two, come on, hang out like a big family. Tony, can I touch your butt? I'm just.
It's something about my butt. Everybody wants to touch my butt this week.
Well, you can't help it. I mean, so here's my question. So I'm going to ask your wife here because she'll tell the truth. She's not as much of a salesperson. She'll tell the truth. All right, so no, here's the thing. How much money have you guys made here in Empower? You guys been in since the beginning, right? How much money have you guys made? Do you know?
We figured it up last week, $550,000 in a little over 12 months.
Okay. Is it 550,000?
Is that right? 550-something thousand, over $500,000.
Okay, so here's the question for you: is when you got started? I mean, the truth, right? Because you've talked about this, right? But the truth, you know.
You maybe tell this, aren't you?
Yeah, you guys were millionaires when you started.
Good Lord, no, not at all.
You guys were making like $100,000 a month in another deal, like when you started.
No, we were in a somewhat similar situation to Kevin and Melissa. We had made really good money, and we were not at that point. No.
Well, what had happened? Why weren't you making good money before you joined? I mean, just truthfully, before you joined Empower, what was going on?
Around July it's been July of last year now. I just got burned out on calling leads, calling prospects, doing three-way calls, conference calls, the whole prospecting thing. And I just
turn and burn.
Turn and burn.
Yeah.
It's like
turn and burn them. Turn and burn.
That's right. It's like scorched earth marketing.
You want to get another yes? Just get 99 more no's.
That's right.
99 more no's.
Dialing for dollars. Dialing for dollars. Looking for no's. But I hit this wall and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I spent the summer really trying to figure out how in the world am I going to make a living? Because emotionally I just cannot keep doing what I've been doing. It's just disempowering.
You weren't going to go back work for Walden Books again?
No, I couldn't do that.
By the way, is that what you did before you were in network marketing, Walden Books?
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask.
$6.25 an hour at Randolph Mall.
$625 now.
$6.25. Yeah. So we were just burned out, but we had made great money, but because of not being able to continue that old grind, I just sat down all summer. I read a bunch of books. I hung out with my family, but I didn't do anything. And so by September of 2011, it was as though we had never made a dime. We had run through our savings, kept the same lifestyle, but just didn't have any money coming in.
Well, you got to keep spending money.
That's right. But
No, I don't know how the house would be clean if we didn't have maids. You know what I mean? Definitely not for me. I'm not going to clean the house.
Oh Lord, no. So finding Empower was it was weird because we had made a lot of money in the industry, but all of a sudden we found ourselves almost broke and not really sure how we're going to continue moving forward in an industry where we believed the only way to make money was to grind.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, no. So you were broke.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I want to ask. Because we haven't heard you talk about this. Honestly, you come home and he's kind of provided. He's been out there. He's done a lot of the marketing, and Tony's done. He's closed people on the phone, and then he just kind of gets burned out. He stops working. It's probably stressful. I imagine were you stressed out by him being stressed out? I mean, how are you feeling around that before you got in Power? Honestly,
it was scary.
Yeah.
Because to see, well, for one thing, we're really close. We're really good friends, so we've got a really great relationship. But to see him going through really being done, just being finished, being tired of it, knowing that the idea of even asking him to get back on the phones again was like asking, you guys on the phone probably know if you've seen your spouse have to go off to a job they hate, you wouldn't want to even have to ask that of them. And yet also saying, but what are we going to do? Where are we going to go from here? And, seeing the bank account reach zero, and know that something's got to be done. And then he came up one day and said, you know, there's this David guy, you remember him back from, he started this thing, this $25 thing, and I thought, $25? What are we supposed to pay with some $25 thing? I said, we're not even going to be able to make the house payment with a $25 thing.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you've gone from there to making.
You hadn't heard that part of the story.
No. She didn't want to spend $25.
She's like, she was like, you want to get in a deal that's 20, because we were selling like $2,000 products.
Oh right. Oh right. I got you. I understand.
And so she's like, you're going to get into a $25, or we're going to go live in a log cabin or something. I mean, how are we going to pay our bills? You sit on a $25 thing. That was what she meant.
Right.
It was like, well, you know, it was kind of weird because we didn't really talk about it again after that. She was just like, okay, well, you know, whatever, because we both thought it was just kind of like a clickbait thing. We thought we'll run a few ads, and you know, as long as I'm spending less than $25 to make a sale, then I'm in profit. And not a lot of money, but you know, they got this inner circle thing too. So that could be where some money starts kind of flowing. So I came in at basic and inner circle, but not Costa Rica. Because I didn't believe anybody would buy that without me having to call them.
Wait, hold on a second. You didn't think somebody'd spend $500 without picking up the phone,
right? And I didn't want to have to call people to get them to upgrade to Costa Rica. So my thought was, well, if I make a $500 sale every now and then that goes by me, no big whoop, because it's not going to happen that often anyway. So my evil scheme was okay. I'm going to sell this $25 thing, and I get say 40% of them would upgrade to Inner Circle. And that's going to be the plan, because I don't have to make phone calls to do that.
Right.
So then, like about a month later, Jessica was looking at the bank account, and she was like, "What are all these little deposits?" And I'm like, "That's that thing that David Wood did." That's the thing, and the deposits were like, you know, you'd have $175 in a day. And then the next day, and we were all on merchant accounts back then, so it was daily. So it was you'd have like a $175 a day, a $225, a $100, a $325, a $75, a $250. You know, but it was consistently a few $100s every day. And she's like, and I'm kind of slow, so like nothing's real until Jessica says it out loud to me. You know, so she's like, wait a minute. She looks at me and she says, "You're making $300 a day and you're not having to call anybody?" And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm making $300 a day and I don't have to call anybody. Oh, anyway, and it was awesome. And we spent, that was December a year ago. So we spent, all of our Christmas was paid for with Empower money.
Finish the Costa Rica story. So he didn't get the Costa Rica product because he didn't believe people would spend, because people aren't going to spend $500 without a phone call. Oh God, no!
You got to call them up and the whole
prospect. You got to be like, please join. You know, you got to use the script book on them. You got to be like
the 90-minute business plan.
Pounding the phone for a weenie little commission of $20. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to slam to get people in five, right?
Oh.
So what happened? I'm just curious what happened.
So we were out to like the movies or something. I can't remember. So we come home. And the worst email, I think, it was like, all right, so here's the deal. So if you guys have ever missed a sale, some of you on the line I know have, where somebody that you enrolled bought a product that you had not yet qualified to earn commissions on, it's an awful email. It is, Chuck, have you ever seen it? Chuck's got so Chuck's next. He's got a great story. Okay, so I get this email, guys, and if you haven't gotten one, please do not ever get one. You do not want to see it. It will. It's like a kick in the nuts. It's just the worst thing ever. It's like you just lost $500. I think that's what it says. Doesn't it say that? It's like you just lost $500, and it says something like you just lost a $500 commission because you weren't qualified to earn it. You know, it's like it makes you feel like, oh my God, I'm bleeding. You know, I feel like I've been stabbed. So anyway, there's 3 of these things in a day.
Wait. So you were at the movies. Yeah. And while you were at the movies, you got 3 emails.
There's like 3 of them.
And it wasn't like a total of $500.
Oh, no,
it was $1,500.
$1,500
in a night that you missed in this email because you didn't believe And of course, nobody's going to buy 500 without a phone call.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So okay. I'm just asking.
And Jessica's got a thought. What were you?
Yeah. What did you say when that happened? I'm curious.
I may not be right about this because he usually gets the numbers quicker, but I think it was we had come out and there were 2 emails from the Daves saying, you've lost $500, you've lost $500, and then another guy just happened to email us who was already on our little bitty team and said, hey, I think I'm about to buy this thing. And Tony said, oh, my God, we got to go. Oh, he was number 4. We lost 3. We did. We lost 3. So we ran home, like breaking the speed limits to go buy this thing because enough was enough.
Oh, my God. Yeah. See, the Empower Network people speed home to buy the products. You know what I mean? They speed home. You know, it's like the Black Friday, but every day.
Exactly.
Because people buy so much stuff. They buy so much stuff.
Nuts.
Maybe you guys want to buy now. And
yeah. If you're not all in, the nastiest experience. The first one stung. Okay. The first one stung, but when I saw the second one in my inbox, I'm like, oh no, it did not. You know, because again, nobody's going to buy a $500 product without a phone call and a back massage and all this other, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the third one, it felt like somebody stabbed me right in the throat. It was awful. $1,500. And Jessica's like, you getting ready to whip out a credit card, ain't you? You know, I'm like, yeah, because you got to stop the bleeding. So anyway, it was. Now at that point we were only like 30 days in the business or something, you know. And so Christmas was awesome. We had a death in the family in January, so we kind of got sidetracked for about 6 weeks. And the only thing I did for 6 weeks was the stuff that you send out. I would just copy that and paste it out to my list, change the username. So I was literally working like 30 minutes a week. I mean, literally, I would 2 emails a week, but I left all my ads running.
Right.
And so in February, we were up to like $400, $500, $600 days because all those rebillings were still coming in from November and December and January, plus, you know, a sale coming in every day or once every other day or something. And so anyway, in February, you did that webinar on how to make $1,000 a day, and people can still attend that. And it's awesome. So we went to that in February, and I thought, well, whatever he's about to say, we'll just go do that. You know, I'm not reinvent the wheel. So we did that, and we did $34,000 in March. And it was just go all in, and then income-producing activities, like Tracy talks about, income-producing activities. Okay, and now we're back. All right, I think that's, yeah, all right, we're good. Hey, guys, sorry about that. You know how it is when you're doing a conference call from a hotel room, anything can happen. So how long were we off the air, do you know? About a minute or 2 minutes. So long story short was, so it's been now, what, 12, 13 months since we got started, over $500,000 of income. And, you know, because the phone was a hang-up for me, I haven't done any prospecting. I haven't called a lead. I haven't done any of those calls. And there's nothing wrong with that. We want to be really, really candid that, you know, we're not saying people shouldn't call anybody, you know. Like if I was getting started today and I didn't have a list, but I had, say, 8 or 10 people that used to be in my downline or some other, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem calling them, you know. But I'm just really grateful that when I needed it the most, something different, something that I could get my teeth into that would make a lot of money, a way of making money that didn't involve me having to beat the phone. This has just changed everything for us.
Well, you guys are doing incredible. We're talking to one phone, talking to this one.
This
one's live. This one's live. No, I mean the thing is, Tony, is it's having a method that works that you can sustain. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, they pretend. You know, if you just prospect now, you could stop in a year. Oh yeah. Right? You ever heard that one? It's like, oh, just do three-way calls today, and then in 2 years, you know, you'll be sitting pretty on the top of a mountain. Right. You know what I mean? Never again. You'll be living the residual lifestyle, and then you stop, your income goes to zero. Yeah. Oh, it's the truth, isn't it?
Well, that's what happened in the summer.
It happened to you in the summer.
Because I stopped prospecting in June or July.
Your income went to zero.
I went to nearly zero. I mean, what little residual that company had was not paying the bills.
So today you're waking up with $2,200 a day average for the last 100 days, and it's actually more now. It's up now. You're on track to hit over 100,000 this month again.
This month's been crazy.
Yeah.
By the way,
what?
You can't make any money in December. How many people have been told that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did like over $30,000 in the first 5 days of the month.
Doing what? I mean, how much?
Doing nothing.
No, I mean, that's the thing. It's going up.
Isn't that crazy, then?
It is.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. Me and Jessica are just sitting here looking at the numbers, and it's like over $30,000 in the first 5 days.
I mean, that's like $6,000 a day.
It's $6,000 a day.
Doing what?
Doing not a thing.
Well, you know, I mean, guys, and that's what to think about. Empower Network is a different message because, you know, we're built on something that's been working for a long time. You know, sometimes we get criticisms, Tony. They say, oh, they don't have a proven model, right? But you met me before, right? Yeah. You met me. You know, they say that model's not been proven over time. You met me in a different company. Three years ago, where I joined a company that you were in, and I recruited 70 people in 3 days, right, at a $500 buy-in without prospecting at all. I didn't know if you knew that.
I should have paid attention.
Yeah. I wasn't prospecting then either. And I've been marketing like this, recruiting thousands of people a year for 3 years straight. 2 of those years were before Empower Network, and it's been getting easier to do every single year. So this model is built up for something that's worked. It's just nobody knows how to do it. That's the problem. Nobody knows how to do it. If they knew how to do it, they'd be doing it. One last question for you, actually, and then I want to bring Chuck up here. How does it feel to have people on your team also making great money? Because this is different here, and I mean, we've made great money. You've made great money. You know what I mean? But it's like you're making money. Then there's 2 superheroes in your team making money. You know what I mean? Out of thousands, not. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But here it's different.
It's weird.
You know, I mean, Kevin's here. He's in your team. I mean, what's your best month, you guys? It's like 28, 27. I mean, you got a guy in the room right now who's made, but it's not just him. He's not just top earners.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what does it feel like? You know, we have, I mean, grandmas making money. I mean, we got, you know, single moms. We got corporate executive women. We've got you know, struggling guys that have, you know, been in the industry for 10 years and never made any money. I mean, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that feel as a leader?
Well, and not to sound like a cliche, you know, or something, but like I think most people are generally good people. I think the natural state of people is good, and they want to see other people do well. And sometimes people get distracted with different stuff, or they get so focused on their own stuff that they don't really have the space in their life to think about affecting other people positively because they're so focused on trying to figure out how to pay the bills. But having said that, one of the weirdest things here is, I mean, like I've lost track of the number of people on my team that make $10 grand a month.
Really?
I don't know how many people there are now. I mean, several, lots. Yeah. But I'm thinking like Sam Crowley just sent an email. We were in the mastermind today in the other room, and he's like 14-day total, $8,000.
Yeah, I didn't know he was making that much.
Yeah, and you know, and it's not. I mean, he's a businessman, so it's not as though he's a stranger to money. But he came here and he latched on quick. You know, John Lavinia, same thing. Mark Cosio's in Kevin's team. Christian, Matt. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Lisa Kidder. There's all kinds of people here who have had varying degrees of success in other things. And you expect them to come here and knock the cover off the ball, you know. But what gets me is the number of people that, like, I mean, you hear these big numbers like $500,000 in a year, or I mean, like you and Sharp did like $360,000 last month or something. I mean, there's monster numbers. But what turns me on, and Jessica too, is these people that have never made a dime doing anything. You know, they've done never. I mean, they've done the hotel meetings and they've done the little milk and cookie parties in people's living rooms, and they've chased their friends and families, and you know, and they're drawing circles on the back of napkins. I got Peter over here with chuckling now. But they've done all this stuff and it didn't work. And all of a sudden they're coming here and they're doing the 8 core steps. And they're just having simple little $100 days, which is huge. And it is. It's amazing because people will say sometimes, they'll say, well, Tony, you know, $25, that's not a lot of money. And it's not. $25 itself by itself is not a lot of money, but if you can show somebody how to make $25 in a day, they can make $100 in a day. Yeah. And $100 a day buys back a lot of belief. It buys back a lot of belief from all the years that they struggled trying to do this and that and this and that. And it changes families. $100 a day will bring mom home from work. Yeah. You know, a lot of times it'll get a spouse out of a job they hate. So, yeah, the cool thing here is that we've got these really great big stories, but what really pushes the company forward as a culture, I think, is the fact that we do have so many people who've never made any money doing anything, and it's $100 a day. And then all of a sudden they have a $200 day and a $500. And if they're all in, it's not uncommon to see somebody, they have like a $1,600 day or a $4,500 day in one day in their first 30 days. It's, you know, we've got an income disclaimer and all that stuff, and people can look at that. But, I mean, we have those stories a lot. And it's, yeah, when you get the money thing figured out, I think good people always want to see other good people do well, and there's just a buffet of those stories here. It's the coolest thing.
Well, it's just a pleasant surprise to make money and also have people around you succeeding.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It is a difference here. It's a big difference. So, hey, thanks for coming out. Hey, give him a hand. Give Tony a hand. Hey, Chuck, here, come on out. Now, I want to hear Chuck's story, actually, because, you know, Chuck Marshall is one of these guys. He's actually hilarious, guys. If you're listening to this call, you haven't met Chuck, you got to meet him. He's quiet, you know, reserved. I mean, truthfully, he's sitting next to me. If I say he's quiet and reserved, he blushes a little bit. You know what I mean?
And good-looking guy.
Hey, he's good looking. You know, he walks by, I just want to touch his butt a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Can't help it. You know, but you know, he's here, and you know, what did you do before? I mean, you've been in the industry for a long time. You've been making money for 7 years, or for 4 years, I think, or something, right? I mean, wild.
Full time since like 2006, so.
About 7.
Yeah.
Or 6,
yeah.
6, 7 years.
Right.
So you've made money before, right, for a long time,
Yeah.
right? So it's making money is nothing new to you, right? But what did you do before you were a marketer? I mean, you were like a corporate executive, college graduate with a master's degree. I mean,
No, I had several various jobs, but the last job I had was the concrete dispatcher job.
but you were a concrete dispatcher before you started in network marketing.
Yes, that's correct.
And what did you make? What have you made in Empower Network over the last year?
It's 405 or 6,000 right now.
406,000 in the last year in Empower Network. What's your best month here?
It's 53, I think.
53,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so 53,000 is your best month here. Is this the easiest money you've ever made? Honestly, because you've been in a lot of things.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the easiest money I've made, and the best business I've been in with, like, you know, the community we have. I mean, I've never experienced anything like this ever. It was always just about, like, slamming people in and making money, and, you know, you just go month to month, and you never knew how it was going to be the next month. Kind of like what, you know, Tony and Jessica would say. It was because I did a lot of the same stuff they did before. Where
so you were doing like top tier, you make a sale, you get paid, and then you don't make a sale, you don't get paid.
Zero to hero, like it's that quick, you know.
What do you kind of average when you wake up now? As far as when you wake up, how much have you usually made, like, in a day before you do anything? It's because it is different here, and it's something that we really want to get people across. You do got to learn some skills, guys. If you're listening to this call, I mean, we're not saying you're going to walk through a field of flowers and the flowers are going to magically make dollars appear and they're going to be floating and you're just grabbing them out of the air as you're walking by. And we're not saying you're going to walk down to a river and just find that instead of water in there's $100 bills walking by and you just run in and grab it. It's not that easy, okay? You got to learn some skills, right? But the thing is that, you know, you're waking up, and he sent me a message. You know, I'm just speaking for Chuck here for a second. You know, he sent me a message. We had talked on the phone when he's making about $15,000 a month, and I told you were going to hit over $20,000 the next month, right?
I think you actually said like 30. You were like, it was like double. That was the same month, I believe, that the event was, the first event was.
It happened, though.
Yeah, it did. I mean,
I told you your income would double doing the same amount of work, which is not normal in other kinds of companies, right? And it did.
Yeah, no, it definitely did, and it was the same month of the first event in Atlanta. That's the same month that's the same month I had like $30,000 month. It was that same month.
Yeah, because of the event.
Yeah, and it was you know, I decided to go last minute. You know, it was I saw a video you put on the company blog, like.
I was like, don't be a wussy. Get to the
Exactly
event.
right.
Come on. Go. Don't be a wussy. Just go.
You said you don't have a reason not to be here. The only person that has a valid excuse is Christina from Australia, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, I was in Maui. And I was like, well, I can.
You were on vacation, and your wife at the time, you know, she was like, come on, you're on vacation.
Yeah, she's like, why do you want to leave Hawaii to go to Atlanta? And I said, well, it was the last day anyways of our trip, and I was like, so I left Maui and flew into Portland, flew Portland to Atlanta. It was like a 10-hour flight, and I made it there, and it was like the best thing for me as far as like, you know, the transformation, like my belief levels, everything. My income obviously increased dramatically being there. So that was a huge thing for me, you know, to do that, and also not just that, but seeing other people that are there having the same type of breakthrough, you know, not like what Tony and Jessica were just saying, just like seeing other people too, like have that breakthrough and have the success, and that also feels really good to see, you know, not just me or anybody, you know, particular people making a lot of money. There's a lot of people making money with Empower.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, you've made money for a long time, but it's different when you wake up with $1,000
Yeah.
than when you have to fight to make a $2,000 commission twice a week. Because that's what you did before,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you fought all week to make a commission, and if you didn't fight, you made no money.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, you still got to market, right?
Right.
But you're waking up. I mean, I've seen you wake up, and I've hit refresh in the morning. Sometimes I look at our income reports. I've seen you wake up with $3,500
Yeah.
several times. Not all the time, but every day. I actually haven't seen you make less than $1,000 in I think 6 months. I mean, just being from my perspective.
Yeah, no, and it's weird to.
And you wake up with that.
Yeah, you wake up to it, and then it's kind of weird to get used to that. You know, so like, but I feel very fortunate, and it's nice, you know, not to have to do Christmas on credit, especially, you know, absolutely.
Hey, so tell us the story about you not getting all in and not believing people would buy without a phone call, because I want to hear this story. Here, you just grab the phone here, just talk for a second.
Okay, so it's kind of an appropriate story given the time of year, but it sounds like the same time of year that Tony had his experiences. It was the weekend after Thanksgiving, and we went to the tree farm to go get we wanted to go get our Christmas trees. We like to put it up right away. And I hadn't bought the Costa Rica Mastermind because I had also thought that people aren't going to buy that. I thought two things. I thought it was too big of a swing from 100 to 500 to not have to call anybody, you know, to make that, because I didn't want to do that either. I hate that, you know, calling and stuff. So I didn't buy it. And I was like, well, okay, so we're on the way to the tree farm, and I got the email on my phone that said you just lost $500, and I thought it was like bullshit. I thought it was just something to make me open the email, which, you know, like, and so I opened it up, and it was really legit. Like I said, the person's name, this person's name, you lost 500, and I was like, what the? And I thought it was I was like, okay, well, this isn't gonna, just one time, you know, and then we were down, and I cut the tree down, and we got it back in the truck, and I get back in the truck, and there's another one. And same thing, so I was like, okay, and I went home, I got the tree out of my truck, I put it up in the living room, and I did a video that said, hey guys, this is my frickin' $1,000 Christmas tree right here, because I didn't, and I felt like I should have known better, you know, I should have just bought it. I should have bought it, but I didn't, and because I thought nobody was gonna, I don't know. So I shot that video, and I said, this is my $1,000 Christmas tree. This is because I didn't take action. I should have known better, you know. But luckily, I was able to stop the bleeding at 2 sales instead of 3. And then after I shot that video out to like my little team that I had there, I had made like 5 sales that weekend from that. So I, you know, it was kind of a funny thing. I was, you know, making fun of myself for not making the right decision, you know. But luckily now it's, you know, for some people it could be a $3,000 Christmas tree. This, you know, if you don't decide to take action, you know. So that was like the biggest thing for me is, okay, you know, now ever since everything came out, I just buy it. Like, you just get it, you know, because it's great content, it's great product, and you know, the potential to make the money with it is awesome too. So that's my story. Yeah, as I say, don't have a $3,000 or a $5,100 Christmas tree by not, you know, not taking action. So I mean.
Well, the funniest one I've heard now is actually a guy missed 3 master's course sales. 3. Yeah, so he got three emails that said, you just lost a $3,000 commission, and then he said shit. I mean, there's nothing else. There's nothing else you can say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If it was like, congratulations, Tony, you just lost 9,000. You know. And that email, I actually tell your story. Have you ever read that email, Tony? Oh, it's a funny email. I actually say this is actually the best thing that's ever happened to you. You just lost $3,000 because Tony Rush, he lost money, you know, like a year ago, and then he decided to not be a wussy and buy. Hey, Peter, you know, I want to. I'm sitting here next to Peter Sorensen. You know, you've been in power for like about 6 months, and you haven't earned $1 million yet. You know what I'm saying? Not at $100,000 a month yet. You're getting started, right? Getting started. What's your best day been so far at Empower Network? I actually don't know. You told me what you made last Friday, but what your best day so far?
No, literally, it's actually like my best day currently. I actually was hanging out in New York as one of my buddies out there, Tubman, and had a $4,500 day just on Friday. And just so far, like the last 3 days, it's been just over $7,000. And yeah, just like Dave said, I mean, I'm just kind of getting started. I've had some experience in kind of direct sales network marketing over the years, but really new to the internet marketing realm. When I got started, it was really the power of events, and even sitting here right now, I just feel so grateful to be here, surrounded by people that I personally look up to, very, very successful leaders in this company, in this industry. And it's really about surrounding yourself, with the right people. So when I got started, it was actually in June. Went out to the Atlanta event, just gotten started. Wanted to go all in. I was still, figuring out how to come with money. I didn't have the money, to be honest, at the time. And I went to that event, and that's really where it clicked for me. Came out of the event, got all in, and just, doing a few things, mainly all on social media for free on Facebook, no paid advertising, no list. And when I say no list, even to this day, it's next to nothing. I'm almost ashamed to say it, how much money I've made, tens of thousands of dollars with Empower already, with basically no email list and hunting and pecking on a computer. But, making $3,000 that first month, and it's really just power of the event. And then I went down to Costa Rica, decided to go to the Masters Retreat there, wanted to go there, set an intention, didn't have the money, came up with the $5,000 plus the cost to get down there, went to that event, learned some things, had an experience, and say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to place in the top of the company at the San Diego event and have a 5-figure month in San Diego. So literally doing that, plugging in, being committed, I went from a space of just getting started. I think at that time I'd made about $7,000 in my first 90 days. And in that next month, in September, I got to the San Diego event, was in the top 25 of the whole company, I think like number 21. And in September, I made over $10,000. So I had my first 5-figure month in Empower. And it's just incredible. It's the power of intention. And just like Dave Wood, I did an awesome webinar the other week in the 15K Formula product about, selling and through videos and doing video marketing. And that's something I've really latched onto. And if check out my YouTube channel, whatever, I'm posting videos like every day. Because that's one of the ways, I'm starting to get leads, organic leads and sales just from my videos, and that's something I can do. It's free. I'm building a list, and, conjunction with my Facebook and stuff like that. So I'm just doing simple things that anyone can do, and it's been pretty exciting to now not only make money, but we have new people on our team that are going all in, getting other people to go all in, and we've had several people like this week on our team that, have had a $3,000 day because one of their people just, got the master's course, or I think they have a couple of people, $4,500 day like myself, because people just made a decision to go all in, do whatever it takes, stop being a wussy, come up with the resources. If you don't have the funds to go all in, it's about being resourceful to get the resources, right? So if you're here on the call saying, this makes sense, I want to make a decision, number one, get at the event, go to Austin, do not miss it. Because I'm telling you, I'm a product of the events. Live events is where lives get changed. I am literally a product of being at events. I've probably been at more events than a lot of people even in this room at a young age, because I know the power of surrounding yourself with like-minded, successful people. And, I'm just grateful to be on here, be a part of this amazing community, and to be able to travel, hang out in New York for a few days, now here in Tampa, and have a $4,500 day and on track to make, $15,000, $20,000 a month. And, I'm just, getting started. So it's pretty amazing.
Well, hey, no, I want to point out a couple things here. Is number one, on this call tonight, you guys have heard, and how many people have we been have we talked to that started with, they didn't have a list. You didn't have a list, right, Kevin? You didn't have a list. Tony Rush actually started not marketing to his list, right, because you were in another company. You didn't want to, you had a beat-up list. It was old, right? He was in another company. We'll do this from now on, yeah. Oh, I'm breaking up real bad? Okay, it's good now. Okay, Aaron Rashkin is a badass, right? So here's the thing I want to point out. Tony started without marketing to his list. Okay, Peter Sorensen started not marketing to his list, right? We're going to talk to Chris Record here in a second. Didn't have a list, okay? So you did not have a list when you started. Is my point, is you had no list. Sometimes people, they write this, they'll write a review on Empower. They'll say, the only people making money are people with a big list because I have a list and I make no money, And the truth is they're just being wuss bags. I'm just going to be straight up with you, because we've got in the room, now we flew you here, right? We flew you here first class.
Yeah, and I just want to say, talk about being with an amazing, powerful company. I got flown out here, expenses first class. I've done some other things that I've never been a part of, literally come out here, first class, beautiful resort right on the beach out here in Florida, and just an amazing experience. Like, I've never been a part of that. I don't know. It was this thing that I think it was my first time flying first class. Like, and I'm 27 now, and it was an amazing experience. And I was like, I can get used to this, So just to be a part of that, and just like Dave said, I didn't have a list. I went on Facebook, and I was just willing to do whatever it takes. I said to White, what skill sets do I have? What resources do I have? I had a network, I guess, if you will, of people on Facebook that I just kind of built up over the years, but I didn't really know most of them. I wouldn't say like I knew everyone, whatever, but I knew a few people. I reached out to a few people, and I just made a decision that I was going to do whatever it takes to get this business exposed to people, get people in front of your videos, get people exposed to the opportunity. Because I know that. I know how to do that. So while I'm learning internet marketing, while I'm learning how to get traffic, leads, and sales, I can do things and use my resources I do have to make sales and to make money. So it's a whole earn while you learn. You don't have to be a master marketer with a big list, but you can earn, go through the products, be all in, learn how to do this, and just do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. And if you just stay in and stay plugged in and you get to the events, you're going to have a breakthrough and you're going to succeed.
Well, that's it. So you've made tens of thousands of dollars here, no list, right? Just doing whatever he's got to do. He's not a wuss bag. You know what I mean? We say go to an event and he just goes. You know what I mean? Now we flew you out here first class because Empower Network ain't wussies, right? Well, we're gonna bring leaders out to an event. We're gonna fly them damn first class, right? Right? Everybody here. So what I wanted to do real quick is I love it when a sponsor has a team member and they're both making a lot of money, because there ain't nothing more powerful than that. A lot of us have been in things where we've made $5,000 a month or $10,000 in a month or whatever, and our team's all broke. You know what I mean? And it sucks having a broke team. Now, the guy I'm going to bring on now, Chris Eckert, we brought him out a lot here, but I actually want to talk about something different now, because we were on the airplane, flying out here, sitting in first class, drinking wine together, and the stories started coming out about a previous company we both met in. Now, we won't mention the name, but it rhymes with Ramway, right? Now, now he had, here's the thing. You had 1,000 people in your team in this mysterious company. We're not mentioning the name, and you're making, I think you said $2,500 a month, right? I mean, being a superhero, just grinding. You know what I'm saying? And you had 1,000 people in the thing. But the thing I wanted to point out is that here you've got people. You're working, barely, truthfully barely at all. We were talking on the plane, and he knocked out a blog post in 20 minutes, just like he shows you in the 15K formula. He did a webinar on speed blogging. I think that webinar you did on speed blogging, honestly, I think that thing was worth $10,000 just because I waste so much damn time all the time. You know what I'm saying? I sit there, stare at my computer for an hour, and he's like, I do this in 15 minutes, and I'm Chris Eckert. I've got superpowers, But that thing was, you were talking on the plane, and you're here, you're making money. You've got people here, we flew down, who are making money, but it's not just, there's a lot of people making good money here. Talk to us about the team here and what you're seeing in the team as far as the results they're producing with a low amount of people. Just your experience.
Sure, yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm glad to be on the call. This is Chris Eckert. And, first of all, just thanks for those props. As far as building a team, I think that it's important that, in a business like this, to be able to just go out and make a bunch of money is cool, but when you can make a bunch of money with your friends, when you can make a bunch of money with your team and everybody can collectively share in it, what that means is that you can start to do fun things, like start to travel together, start to be able to go out to go get nice meals together, start doing fun trips together, start taking little mini vacations together. I mean, you name it, you can do it with the people that you're working with. Now, if you're just the only one making money, I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good to take care of yourself and your family, but when you lay your head down on the pillow at the end of the night, you're like, man, I wish more people could get this result. I wish more people could experience this. And so I sort of have a spot in my heart for just wanting to try to carry along as many people as I can with me in whatever venture I'm doing. I mean, it could be anything, and I just want to bring people along with me. That's just my personality. So, I got started, and what was different in this business, what was different with the Empower Network business model is that in order to scale it up and go big, it's kind of like a reverse psychology. It's like in order to help more people, you have to kind of stop helping people in order to help people. So I had to go through this whole learning process when I first started. At first, I just wanted to grab everybody by the hand, and I wanted to teach everybody how to write a blog post and how to do it right and how to write an email. And I was like so anxious to really want to help people because, I think it's ingrained in all of us to really want to help people. And then I realized, you know what, the more that I learned to just kind of step back from that, lead by example, show people what's possible, go out and get some results, and then document those results, and start to, instead of doing one-on-one training, see, that's what I've done at all my previous companies, is really work with people hands-on, a little bit of hand-holding, to be honest. In this company, I took a different approach. It's more of a group coaching, group mentoring, do things in a group presence. Instead of sitting around one-to-one with somebody, I would rather, record a video of how to do something and send it out to the whole team that they can continue to use over and over and over. So I went through a tremendous learning experience. David Wood was saying something I trained on recently was worth $10,000. Well, just that learning experience of me being in Empower Network and learning how to do things on a large scale and learning how to scale things up so that you can help more people, this is a whole new learning experience for me. This is something I've never done before really in any other company. And part of the reason is because given my current situation where I'm at, I sort of have to. Dave was joking about, me having some sort of super blogging powers or something like that to bust out a post in 15 minutes, and I know it seems like that to some of you, that, how is that even possible? Well, I put myself in a position where I have 15 minutes and I need to write a blog post. Dave was mentioning the one that we were on a plane. He's talking about this one I just busted out. Well, it's because I got off of a flight. It was connecting in Houston, and I realized, hey, I got to charge up my phone anyway. So I went over, charged up my phone, pulled up my laptop, and I said, hey, I got 15 minutes before I should go over there and line up. What can I do to produce some income? I could write an email out to the team. I could write a blog post or whatever it was. So you see, I put myself in these situations where I only have 15 minutes. What I used to do is what Dave's referring to is I used to sit in front of my computer for 4, 5, 6 hours and look at a blog post and kind of go, is it ready yet? Maybe I can tweak these pictures out. Maybe I can line it just to the left and get everything looking just right. And, that was just a recipe for failure for me. Now, I didn't have, I didn't have some massive traffic skills like David Wood had, but I would write these amazing blog posts, but it would take me 5 or 6 hours to write a blog post, and then I would get like 20 visitors to it. So there's just no point. So I learned to put myself in a situation where, you just have a window of opportunity, take massive action, get stuff done, and be totally productive with your time. And now that's one of my passions, is trying to help people be more productive with their time. I work a day job that's about 60 hours a week currently. I'm even doing it while I'm out here on this leaders retreat. And on top of that, I've got 2 children under 2. I'm in a situation where I want to be there for my kids. So I take little small blocks of time, an hour or 2, and learn how to be effective. And when it comes to helping my team along with that, there's no way I could hold everybody's hand and be effective in those 2 hours. So I learned to think outside of the box and learn how can I assist my team on a big, large scale, on a big group level, to be able to help them all succeed without having to pick up the phone and call them all, without having to personally hold everybody's hand, and have them still respect me as a leader. I don't want them to look at me and think, oh, Chris Record only cares about himself. He's just out there looking for himself. I really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, want to help people. So I think if you're in the situation where you're doing a lot of hand-holding right now, if you're maybe wanting to grow a bigger business, I'd recommend, lead by example, go take massive action, get results yourself, and stop giving yourself, 4 hours to write a blog post. Just don't allow it. Maybe not 15 minutes, okay? That's like saying, okay, I have to make $200,000 a month like David Wood or whatever. No, I mean, start with $1,000 a month, then $5,000, then $10,000. So for a blog, start with an hour. Give yourself 1 hour, but that's it. At the end of that hour, you hit publish, it's done. I mean, that's it. Spend the rest of what you should spend time on? It's not blogging. You should spend time on promoting your blog. You should spend time on getting people to your landing pages, getting people on your email list. That's more productive. So, I mean, that's kind of the summary of what Dave's asking me here. And I'll tell you guys what. I mean, I've been in a few different companies, and when I saw Empower Network, it was the same thing. I kind of thought it was this little schemey thing on the internet. We didn't know what to do. I didn't even understand it. The information was like outdated. I tried to go look for information on the comp plan. It didn't even feature the new products, and I'm going, I don't even understand this deal, but I'm going to have faith and get in it. And it's just freaking awesome. I mean, I'm sitting here working a couple hours a day on marketing for Empower Network, and this week alone, I mean, I don't even know my total income this week, but it just keeps coming in. I mean, even right now during this call, I got a little commission notification of another $1,500 bucks. I mean, that puts me over 5,000 probably for the day, or 6,000 for the day. Yesterday was somewhere around 5 or 6. The day before was like 6 or 7. It's like a $15,000 week while I'm actually out here on this leaders retreat not really doing any marketing. And that's with me coming in with no list. That's with me not even really doing any paid traffic right now. I'm just doing the freaking 2-1 that Dave recommends on the video, and it's working. And I'm like scared to mess with it too much because it's working and it's going to produce $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 months. So why, I guess all I did was take massive action, went all in. I wasn't a freaking wussy, and I just made it happen at the time I had. That's it. I don't really have much advice beyond that.
One more question I've got for you, because you had actually one of the biggest teams. You had one of the biggest teams at the last event. I mean, you had 80 people there, and you were only in for 3 months. And this month, I think actually you'll hit over 30,000. Now, again, an income disclosure, folks. We talk about money all the time. All these stories are true in the room. I mean, these are people in the room that are making this much money. We flew them all out first class. We flew you out first class, right? Flew everybody here out. These are people in the room making money. You can see the average earnings on our site because we don't know if you're a wussy or not, and that's the truth. Because there's going to be people on this call that says, free money is in a lotto, you know, what are your chances for success? Well, I'll tell you what your chances for success are is what's the chance that you're not a wussy, right, and that you're going to get your ass to work, right? So if you work, you can make money, and if you don't, you can't. You work an hour a day, but you're very effective in that hour a day, right? But you had a big team to the event, 80 people, okay? Now, you're skeptical at our first event. Now, can you tell a story? You were a little skeptical of what we were doing at our first event, but then what made you make the decision to really get over the line and to bring a team? You had 80 people from your first event to your second, and that just blew up your team, blew up your income, blew up your success. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and I have a background in the direct sales industry, so I guess I've understood the importance of being at events before. I think most companies do teach that to a certain extent. But here's something that was different. I went to my first event. I was only a couple days in the business. I had a couple friends there with me. And what happened was when I went there, I wasn't framed right. You know, I'm like, oh, it's just going to be super internet marketing stuff. And so I just went there just ready to kind of learn some stuff. But I didn't understand. I didn't really know there was this whole culture behind the company at that point. I thought it was a couple guys. One of them looked like a hippie, you know, wearing no shoes, raggedy hair. He was going to be the guy speaking at this event. So I'm like, great. And that's David Wood sitting right next to me. But he does have a badass shirt on. So if you guys only saw his shirt right now, it's pretty cool. But it actually is a pretty awesome shirt. But yeah, David's crazy, man. This guy, he bought like $1,000 pen, but you know he can't afford a can of deodorant for his arms right here. So I'm sitting right next to him right here. But you gotta love him though, man. This guy attracts success to him. And I'm sitting in a room full of leaders. My story is one of the small ones in here. I mean, there's people here in this room, just in this little hotel. I mean, not little, a decent sized hotel room. But there's people in this room making over $100,000 a month. I mean, left and right. So I'm one of the little guys. But you know, look, I put my confidence, my faith into this company. So building for big events, this is my motivation behind it. Is if you build a big team, right, you're going to have a bunch of people at $25, some people at $100, you know, some people might be all in, but you've got this big team. Now, if you can basically be a leader and lead them to the big events is where big decisions are made. So I see the event as actually part of the sales process, part of the team growing process. So what I want to do is I want to get a big, massive team, and I want to get everybody to the event, and then I want them to basically be submerged into the culture of Empower Network for about 2 or 3 days. And at the end of that, their desire to go all in is going to be through the roof. So what's going to happen is a couple things. One, everybody's going to want to go all in. So I guess my first question is this. Don't you want everybody on your team to go all in? Isn't that like right now? I mean, even if you only have 5 people or 10 people, wouldn't it be better if everybody was all in, right? It would be better for them. It would be better for you. And everybody would be more committed. You'd be getting roll-up sales. It's just a no-brainer. I want everybody on my team to be all in. So I want them to go to the event where they can get this big decision and just ingrained in their mind that they want to go all in. So that's the first thing. The second thing is commitment. People waver in their commitment in everything in life, you know, and if you can get somebody to a big event, what happens is the next 30 to 60 to 90 days, they're more productive than they've ever been with their business. And so, you know, if I could just get them to an event, get them recharged, get them vibrating, and get them all fired up for Empower Network, they're going to go out there and create more success really on their own, and that's leverage. And I could leverage events. And plus, you know, when they go to the event, they're going to see this thing is very, very real. A lot of people are just sitting at home behind their computer and messing with this thing for, you know, an hour here, an hour there. When they go to the event, they're like, okay, this is real. These are real people that are, in, some of them in way worse situations than me, that are really making this happen. I've seen them. I've met them. So your conviction and your confidence just goes through the roof. So I put huge, huge, huge faith in events. And these events are actually pretty badass, too. I mean, we're actually planning this whole Austin event while we're here. A bunch of us leaders, 20, 30 of us, are planning this event. And so I could tell you right now, all of us have input. David Wood and David Sharp are very generous in letting everybody plan it together. And this event in Austin is going to be the best event that Empower Network has ever put on, probably the best event you've ever been to in your life. So what I would do is I would just make a decision right now. The best time to make a decision is right now. Just make an immediate decision at this very exact moment that you're going to be in Austin. Just do it right now. Just I am going to be in Austin. You know, if you're part of a Facebook group on somebody's team, you know, regardless of whose team it is, go in that Facebook group and go say, hey, I am absolutely committed to go in Austin. Go in there, post it right now. You know, go in your back office and go on the top where it says who your sponsor is, and it's going to say their email address, and message them right now and say, I am committed, I'm going to be in Austin. Okay, just do it. Make this commitment. It's going to be the best event of your life, okay, and we're all planning it to make it be the best event of your life. And when you build for events, everybody I know that's been successful in pretty much this industry, they build for events, big. My goal is to have a couple hundred people at this one at least, maybe 200, 250 people in attendance at this event, and it's going to create some massive, massive momentum. So, yeah, definitely do that. Hey, do you mind if I say one more thing real quick? All right. I was on Tony Rush's Facebook wall. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Tony posted a picture. No. I just, if I could pull it up. If I can, if it takes too long, then don't worry about it. My computer might not freeze. One of your guys, Tony, one of the guys on your wall just said the most awesome comment I've ever read about me, but it's just funny. I don't know if I can pull it up. My computer died right there. But it was something. Yeah. You should go look at that comment that guy said. Anyways, all I'm doing right now, I guess, is just promoting Tony Rush's Facebook page. But it is highly entertaining. I love going to. Anyway, some guy said that basically he used to wake up. What? Hold on. What does it say? Here, you want to hand it out? All right, hold on. I'll let Tony read it.
Okay. All right, cool. This is on my Facebook wall. A guy named Rowan LaVille. Is that right? Said, yes, Chris is a machine. Listening to Chris is the equivalent of having an extra-large double-double coffee. I used to listen to banjo music to pump me up and motivate me. Now I listen to Chris Record in the 15K formula.
That's awesome. So, hey, Chris, you're a badass. You guys just get your tickets to the event. Don't be a wussy. Go. It will be the best event that's ever happened in the internet. Period. We're planning it with leaders for a reason. It's because Dave Sharp and I realize we don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? There's people in this room that know things I don't know. They're good at things I'm not good at. And if we all work together, put our brains together, we can do something way bigger. You know, a lot of people they put this weenie ass shit on the internet. You know, they say, oh, you got to be such a branded guru to make any money. And some of these branded dork bags make $638 a month, making fun of people that make, you know, $50,000 a month being totally unbranded, and they can take their criticism, roll in the ball, shove it up their ass, just being honest. Because I'll tell you what we're going to do here at Empower Network, guys, is we're going to create an army of success. 2013, our goal is to create 30 people, not 30 millionaires. And sometimes people say, I'm going to create all these millionaires, and it's like, well, yeah, you get somebody to join a company and make $10,000 a month for 10 years, and they've made $1 million. You know what I'm saying? I want 30 people make $1 million with Empower Network in 2013. We can do it. I'll tell you we can do it. We're going to lay out the formula for how to do it in Austin. We're going to talk about that. If you got to go, right? You got to go to get there. You've got to go to the event to get there. You got to make a decision to get there. And I'm telling you something, best thing you could do, don't just go. Buy a ticket and bring a danged team. Make a decision to go. Now, we're going to bring some more people on. We're just going to stay out until we bring everybody in the room on, to be honest with you. But the next person I want to bring out is just another badass. Now Nicole Cooper, we've been working together for a long time. You know, we've sold other things, and you know, I originally told Nicole about this at an event. You didn't get in, right? You didn't get in because you were burnt out. I mean, it's the same story because you're sick of people. You're sick of people not making any money. Yep. You're sick of people not making any money. You know, and I feel you, right? Because I was sick of it too. But what made you decide to get in Empower? I know you. How much have you made here now? I don't even know.
112.
You made 112,000. What's your best month so far?
I don't know.
But you were pregnant half that time.
I was pregnant, yeah. So I'm probably 20, 30. I'm not sure because I sat out for 6 months and didn't do anything, and just really came back like mid-August actually. And my income is probably doubled, obviously doubled, yeah, since we got back from the San Diego event. So I'm at about 30, I guess. I don't know, 20, 30. I don't know. I got to do better.
Well, it's cool when you don't need to check your income because you just, I mean, you see it and you almost get a heart attack. You're so excited because it keeps going up. You know what I mean? You're like I can't believe I didn't do anything. My income's going up. But tell us what happened. What made you make a decision to do Empower Network and why you feel that you guys had one of the best team presences too. I mean, you guys have done you and Tracy. I know you work together, the Dream Team. You guys do an extraordinary job getting people to the events, right? You have a great team culture there, great duplication there. All your team succeeding. You have people on your team never have success who are succeeding, and it's just great to see. But why are events so important to you guys, and what made you make a decision, and why are you here?
Actually, I can say in the reverse. A lot of people have talked about going to that first Atlanta event, and I did not go. I think that first Atlanta event probably cost me a couple $100,000 because a lot of people were able to get that momentum, actually see some growth and things happening on their teams. I had just had a baby, was dealing with postpartum depression, kept going back and forth, am I going to go, am I not going to go, do I want to drag the kids around, and dealing with all these different things, and not going actually hurt my business. When I got to San Diego, we had more people show up. I think we had about, on our team, 112 maybe show up there. We've had more people come back and have $1,000 days than I've ever seen in any other company that we've ever been in. So going to the San Diego event for me was the awakening that we're at the right place at the right time, and a lot of amazing things are happening.
Well, hey, you're awesome. Everybody, give Nicole a hand. Hey, thank you for being here, by the way. Hey, I love having you down. Thanks for flying down. I know we flew you, but thanks for coming down. So the next person I'm going to bring out actually is this guy. Now he's so powerful actually. If you don't join when you listen to him, you actually break out in a rash. You just hives. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually one time I was on a webinar with this guy, and I wanted to not buy, and just not wanting to buy made me break out in hives. But Aaron Rashkin, he's been around in Power since we launched. Well, you took a little bit.
10 days after.
Yeah, you took a little bit, did some research on the company, wanted to make sure that we were here for the long haul because you respect your list. You don't just slam. One of the things I respect, a lot of people will just promote anything. You know what I mean? They say, "Oh, I can go make a commission, so I'm going to promote it." But Rashkin, he doesn't do that. He only promotes stuff that he thinks people will actually get value from. Now, we've been talking, and I've learned a lot about you. He had a downline of I think 5,000 people, and we're making. 10,000 people was making, I think, $4,000 a month from it. The huge dream lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? From the big residual income of $4,000 a month for your team. I actually visualize that because sometimes people don't realize. Most of the time, this is the truth. If you're in a lot of companies, not every comp plans are different, but the truth is, if you visualize an auditorium of 10,000 people, Rashkin had that in a team making $4,000 a month. I mean, almost enough to buy toilet paper that he buys today. He buys gold-laced toilet paper now. He's upgraded a lifestyle. But what made you make a decision to get in? Why are you here now? What are you seeing in your team? And why do you think people should be at the event? Just your perspective.
First of all, thanks, Dave. Literally no joke. I mean, yeah, I had it coming out of both ends here just 48 hours ago. So I definitely needed toilet paper. I always thought that a toilet paper company would be an awesome MLM because it's repeat residual, right? Everybody uses it. So anyway, 48 hours ago, I was literally down on my back, sick as a dog. We had a great event at our house on Friday, and then Saturday morning I woke up. I could barely even move. I was laying still, and you know what? I knew that this group was going to be here in Tampa at this corporate event, just hanging out, a dozen plus people, just masterminding the Austin event, and I could not let the opportunity pass me by. And so when you want to know why I'm in this company, I mean, this is the most powerful group of leaders that I've ever seen assembled in any one company, whether it's MLM, top tier, internet marketing. It doesn't make a difference. This is the most badass group of people that we've ever had in one company before. And I knew that this was a place that I could personally learn and grow as well. So when we joined this company back, about a week and a half after it started, we kind of just tiptoed carefully. We put in maybe about an hour a day. We did the things that we knew that would not just, introduce people to the opportunity, but we just really leveraged the tools and the systems and the technology because we knew that we didn't have a lot of time because it was not our primary business. It wasn't the only thing we had on our plate. And so we just plugged in, we paid attention, we got on every call, we jumped into the game, we played the same game. Dave, this is one of the biggest things that I see, one of the biggest challenges that I see most people having is that they're not playing the same game as the leaders. They think they can do it by themselves. They're not coming to events, they're not getting on calls, they're not getting on the Google Hangouts, they're not getting on the webinars, they're thinking that they can do this without actually staying connected to the team. And that's the biggest mistake I see people making. See, it's when you show up at events that you befriend the leaders, that you get to know them, you get to talk to them in the hallways and talk to them, even literally running by like the coffee shop, like the Starbucks. Somebody grabs your arm real quick and just says, "Hey, can I just take a quick picture with you?" If you make yourself remarkable, if you make yourself noticeable and you impress somebody just by the way you look at them and shake their hand and give them a hug and smile, that's what happens in the Empower Network is you get to meet the people who are going to be there to lift you up and support you. And if you stay home when the event's over, you're the same person that it was then when it began. And if you go to the event, it's like, I love this quote. Jim Rohn used to say that every event you go to is like getting the next digit in the combination that's going to take for you to unlock the doors to your success. And if you don't show up to the event, you don't get the digits. If you don't come to the masterminds, you don't find out what everybody else is learning about. And if you don't go to the events, you don't get a chance to meet the people, connect with the leaders, and get to know the team that's going to lift you up. Because sometimes it's not even what you learn from stage. It's not what you hear about when you're sitting in the seats. It's what you hear about when you're walking in the hallways, when you're taking the elevator up and down from your hotel room, when you're walking around the restaurants or waiting online, waiting for a seat to get a meal. It's the people that you connect with before, during, and even after the general sessions that make the biggest difference in your life. And I can tell you, I learn more by hanging out with these guys in an hour than I do at a live event, but it's at the events that we get to learn about the people that are coming from our team so that we can lift you up so that you get a chance to get on stage. And I know, Dave, I've got, we're going to have a couple of hundred people at our, on our team as well. And I can tell you right now, the people that show up at the events are the ones that become the leaders. They're the ones that become the next generation of leaders. They make the biggest commitments, and they are the ones that take the biggest action. So, gang, if you don't have your tickets yet, you literally go online right now, go into your back office, go into the My Training tab, go to the Austin event ticket area, buy your ticket, make the commitment, because once you commit, you will see that everybody around you starts to conspire for you. The universe gets in alignment with your goals and what your expectations are, and you'll see that very quickly all the creative financing that it takes for you to be at the event will come together. Your airfare, your hotel, your transportation, all your meal money, everything will come together. I guarantee you, as soon as you make the commitment, you will go through this shift. And if you just believe that you're going to be there, you know what? We had people show up at events with pool rafts. They would literally lay down on a pool raft. Dave, I never told the story on an Empower Network call, but my very first event, I sold my CDs, my jeans, and my jean jacket, and I borrowed a little bit of, I had a jean jacket. That's how old I am, guys. I've been doing this for 21 years. Back in the mid-'90s, I had an old jean jacket that I had in college. I sold it for like $8. I literally scraped together the money to get to an event, and I brought my own, a jar of whey protein, and I stole lettuce and tomatoes from the salad bar at Roy Rogers. Because that's all I could afford to eat. But you know what? My sponsor told me, he said, if you don't go to the event, he said, you will not know what everybody else at the event knows, and there's no way I could work with you the same way. So you're going to be behind if you don't show up. You're going to miss the information, and you're going to miss out on becoming the leader and the person that it takes the next to really reach the next step in your life and in your business. So I made it a point to never miss an event, and you know what? They're non-negotiable. As soon as the events are announced, we buy our tickets, we get our airfare, we get our hotel, because we know that events change lives. And they'll change your life too. So you got to be there. You got to come out and meet these awesome clowns. They're some of the most amazing people you'll ever meet, and it's fun. I mean, we have such a good time. We're having fun. We're making a ton of money. I have teammates on my team. I'm so impressed with my team. I get Facebook posts in our group that they're making $10,000 in 6 weeks, $5,000 in 2 weeks. We got new people that are blogging like crazy, and they're just putting the numbers up, and they're getting themselves in the game here, and they're in it to win it. And I'm so looking forward to seeing my team out in Austin and meeting the entire company out there. Almost 4,000 people going to be in attendance, and this is something that you cannot afford to miss. So, Dave, appreciate you having me out, and I'll pass it back over to you, my friend.
Well, here's a couple things, actually. First of all, if you're on Aaron Rashman's team, you are not allowed to be a wussy. You're not allowed, right? If you do, you'll immediately break into hives, right? You got to go. But, you hear him talking, and you say, God, how do you talk? I mean, I just hand him the phone, and it's a damn poet of success comes out. You know what I mean? He's almost rhyming it. So he just, the success language is just fun. He's quoting Jim Rohn, and how do you do that? He goes to events. The next thing I want to say, though, I was thinking about this toilet paper thing, right, that you mentioned. Now, I know we talk about weenie-ass commissions all the time, but how about wipe your ass commissions?
Sorry, that was a little crude. But anyways, next guy I want to introduce is Toby. Now Toby, is one of the most talented marketers I've ever met in my life. Sometimes people, they get online and it's a mix of you work hard. It's not you don't just got talent, you work hard. People have different marketing personalities. Some people got no talent and they just work and they're scientific, right? Some people, they've got incredible artistic talent like you guys. But you guys came in here. What'd you make last year? Half the year you're just taking it off. You're just kind of building another business.
200 and something.
200-something thousand, half the year doing absolutely nothing. I mean, that's just truth, right? And you have a good perspective on events too, why people should be there, I know you're going to have a huge team at the next event. And can you just share your perspective on why you're here now, why you're focused here, and maybe share your perspective on this mastermind. We flew all you guys out, you know what I mean? We're hanging out here and taking care of the hotels and things like this because you guys are badasses, you know what I mean? And we value your input and your insight. I think we just break all records this next year, create more income earners than anything, and people who aren't picking up the phone, aren't doing meetings every single day, people who are free and having fun and being sexy while they make money. You know what I'm saying? And so you just share your perspective, brother.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having us out here, Dave. There's two things I want to get to, and when you put them together, you can unlock every single bit of fantasy, of dream life, of wealth, of joy, of pleasure that you could ever imagine in your life. And I'll get to that in a second, those two components. But the first thing I want to talk about is how amazing the integrity is of the Empower Network affiliates, so everybody in here, but more importantly, the corporate office. Today we had the pleasure, and yesterday, to be around 2, 3, 4, 5 of the team members behind the scenes, and their message is the same as ours. Their integrity is the same as ours. Their authenticity is the same as ours. Their motivation is the same as ours, and that's hard to find. You can't find that anywhere. Layla and I have been lucky enough to be a part of many different companies being flown all over the place. They never fly you first class. They never pick you up with a chauffeur. They never have someone waiting for you at check-in, so you don't even have to touch the check-in. They take care of every little thing, and that's the importance here. They're taking care of every detail because they're thinking as if they were the person coming. What would make this better? What would make that better? And that's a true sign of leadership, the authenticity. It's a genuine thing. The reason that Layla and I are back running 100% with Empower, with nothing else, is because of the true authenticity and genuine, real relationship that's going on between Dave and Dave, between the affiliates, and then the behind-the-scenes guys. Everybody's just working together to make as much money as possible, to help everybody make as much money as possible, and to live a much better life. Now, there's two things I want to touch on here before I pass it back to Dave. When you put these two things together, you can create anything that you ever wanted in life. The first thing is emotional leverage. What's emotional leverage? Imagine a story that you saw on the news. There's a family of 4 driving down the highway, and there's a terrible accident, and they get run off the road, and they smash into a traffic pole. And the father that's driving the car, jumps out the car. There's screaming going on. There's panic everywhere. And he sees that his little daughter is trapped under the car. The emotional leverage that happens in that man, that he somehow manages to move that car off of his daughter and save his daughter's life. Same scenario, if that guy was driving by himself and he went off the road, and it was a Subway sandwich that had got flown out the car and the car was crushing that, he wouldn't have the emotional leverage, that determination, that instinct to immediately move the car because he's not attached to it enough. The reason I'm telling you that story is right now, the reason you're not getting the results that you want, that you deserve, that are right there in front of you, you just stop being a wussy, is you haven't built up the enough emotional leverage in your mind to go out and do whatever it takes to get the job done. That's the first component. The second component is building a spider web of success through events. If you look at many, many successful people in our industry, internet marketing, affiliate marketing, online network marketing, they can map out their results, their success through events, by going to their first event and meeting this person, hearing that bit of nugget, that knowledge, going to their next event, meeting this person, joining up to partner up with that person, and all the way through their career. If you go through and ask everybody making a 6, 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure business in this industry, it can be mapped out from events. So I'm going to tell you, when are you going to your first event to start your journey? When are you going to go to that first event to meet that person, to get that bit of information that takes you to where you want to be? You better bet your ass, your badass, that it's that event in January in Austin. We can't wait to see everybody there. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I miss my baby. She's up in Canada. I get to see her in the next couple of days. Lay, we love you. We love this incredible community. Passing it back to you, Dave.
Hey, well, another bad. You just. I mean, you're rhyming with success. You know what I mean? It's just oozing out your bones. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here taking a cup and just filling it with success and drinking it, sitting next to it. You know, sexy hot accent. I actually reached out, touched his butt a little bit. I don't know if you noticed, Toby, when you were doing it. But next guy I want to bring out here is actually. I mean, this guy's been my friend now for years, right? We've been working together off and on for about 3 years. You know, before Empower Network. You know, he kind of you could sought me out. You know what I mean? And you know, we were talking the other day that a year ago, this gentleman was struggling to believe it was possible to make $10,000 a month consistently in my business, which I heard and burst into laughter. I mean, just being honest with you, because I was like, you've been doing this for years. I mean, that's measly. You know, it's just getting started, right? But he was struggling to do it, and his belief was shot. I mean, what I saw was a guy who was about ready to quit. And I've seen a lot of people who've been, you know, a lot of people, look, if you're on the call, look, let's acknowledge who you are. I've wanted to quit 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? You know, when I was struggling, when I was in, you know, I was in this mysterious company. It rhymes with Ramway for years, and I used to wander around every single night looking for people to talk to. I wanted to quit every night. I wanted to quit. But I saw a man who wanted to quit. Now, there's two types of people who reach that point. Some people, they want to quit, and they quit. They quit, right? And they give up, and you know, it's equivalent when you give up on your dreams. You know, you might as well just get a tattoo gun out, write "wussy" right in your forehead. You know what I mean? Why don't you just get in front of the mirror and just staple to your chest a permanent sign that says "I don't love my family"? I mean, that's the truth. If you want to quit and give up on your dreams, you don't love them, because look, it's your dreams. It's what you've got inside of you that you know you want to accomplish. Look, this is why your family loves you. You know what I mean? They don't love you for, look, if you're failing, failure is one thing, guys. If you fail for a little while, failure is one thing. Struggling is one thing. Giving up and being a damned wussy is another thing. So Lawrence is one of those guys who, yeah, I saw you were about to quit, brother. But, you know, he didn't quit. And we were sitting there with, it was me, Lawrence Tam, Chuck Marshall the other night, and we were chit-chatting and laughing about how we make more money than the President of the United States of America. Now, we're not counting his book sales and shit, okay? We're just talking about his salary, right? But here's 3 guys, you know what I'm saying? One of them was a dispatcher, one of them was an engineer, and one of them was a homeless man, and we're all making more than the President of the United States. I mean, I think that's hilarious, and we were laughing, thinking back, and I said to Lawrence something. I have him talk, you know, just his perspective in a second, but I said to Lawrence, I said, Lawrence, you know, here's something I really want you to think about. You being here where you are proves, it doesn't matter what somebody's struggling with, they can do it. Lawrence, over to you, buddy.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, this is Lawrence Tam, and I'm just happy to be here. I mean, that discussion we had with Chuck and just making more money than the president just didn't make any sense, you know. But you know, if you think about it, the only real reason people really don't make the type of success in their lives is because they quit. And they just quit on themselves. And I was just to a point where, like, being in the industry for 3-4 years, doing it part-time, doing it as an engineer with kiddos, and, you know, I actually was able to get Dave on the phone. And I was like, I sent him an email like, hey, Dave, man, I'm burning out. I'm stressing. I don't think it's possible that I can get over 10K. I've tried for a good 18, 24 months. And he was just like, just come on, hang on with us, and let's talk about it. And I just didn't believe it, because just not enough people were doing it. And it's like all I could see was, well, if I did it, I'd be the only one, me and Dave, making money on the Internet. But now that there's multiple people making a ton of money, it just makes more sense. Like, well, now that money can basically pave your way in your future for your family to do what you want and to help the communities. I mean, my perspective is this. It's not the fact that we want to be millionaires. It's the fact that how many more lives can we touch? I mean, if you have a church, and let's say you tithe 10%, and everyone makes $50,000, fantastic, you know what I mean? But if you have people making $500,000 a year doing 10%, I mean, that's the person who can do more with the same amount of time and affect more lives. I mean, if we're here to change more lives, well, why don't we do more for our lives? But a lot of us are so pigeonholed when we grew up to what you are capable of doing. Lawrence, look, as my dad told me, you can either be an engineer or you can be a doctor. And being a doctor just wasn't going to cut it, so I tried to be an engineer. Coming out as an engineer, you're making, you know, maybe $50,000, you top out maybe $80,000 to $90,000, and you know, a year. And so that's so that was an interesting side note. Most of us who have a salary, who have a traditional profession, we talk, hey, you know, I made six figures in a year. I did six figures in a month just in Empower last month. And seeing that, it's just like, how does that even compute? Because no one actually told you, Lawrence, you can do that. You're capable of it. You can make six figures in a year, and you can help a whole heck of a lot of people. But a lot of us are told, hey, look, this is your worth, and stick with it. Hey, look, you know, you're worth minimum wage. Hey, you're worth $50 an hour. But now it's just like, if I want to go work, I can work. If I don't want to work, I don't have to work. But the time you realize that you can actually make $250,000 in a month, then you're like, wait a minute, how did I do that? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, at what process did we get to this point? And what I'm saying is, you get to that point by investing in yourself. And my dad told me all the time, son, you can get laid off, you can get fired, they can take your house, they can take your car, but they can't take what you've learned. And so what I really truly believe what Empower is empowering yourself to learn. Why don't we, how come I don't take the 700 people I put into Empower Network hand by hand, call each one up and do a 5-hour training course with them? Why wouldn't I do that? Because I value my family and my time. And do I want to keep you poor? Do I want to teach you the way to be broke? What would that mean for me as a sponsor to teach you how to not make money, how to have a job that you hate, how to basically commit suicide in your own business? And so we want to show people, look, you empower people by teaching like university. Come in, you learn, you put in your time, you learn basic technologies, what's working now, how to use it, how to apply it. Then you come out and you apply and like, wow, it actually works if you get the work done. So if you're asking yourself, am I really worth the type of money I really want to do? Well, number one, invest in yourself. And number two, apply like your life depended on it. If you do this, repeat this process, show people that it's possible. These are all the army out there who is sick and tired of being told you can or cannot go to the restroom, or you can and cannot have 2 weeks of vacation. That's just craziness. I mean, we're human beings. We should be able to just live on the beach if we wanted to, right? I'm going to pass it back to Dave. Hey, I love you guys. Thanks a lot.
Hey, guys, you know, that's it. I mean, the TAM has spoken. The TAM has spoken. You know what I mean? And the TAM will ram you with his forehead if you don't go to the event. On the internet, of course, because he doesn't ever leave his house. He's always, you know, I call Lawrence. I remember Lawrence been on my team for years. I remember I call him. I'd be like, hey, Lawrence, what's up, man? He's like, hey, Dave, I can't talk right now. I'm on a date with my wife. I'd be like, okay. And then I call him back, you know, next day, and I'm like, hey, Lawrence, what's going on? He's like, oh, I can't talk right now. I'm at Disneyland with my family, right? And then you start succeeding on the internet, and then, I'm like, hey, Lawrence, what are you doing? He's like, oh, Dave, I can't talk on the phone right now because, I'm in an inner tube, floating down, the Mississippi River, with my wife and my kids, eating a sandwich and drinking beer. So I can't talk. I'm sorry. That's a man who lives the life. He really does. I appreciate you, brother, and it's just the start. I think I want to help you make $3 million next year. I just think that'd be bad to the bone. You know what I mean? How'd you like that engineer story? But rather than just this $500,000, it's like $3 million. You know what I'm saying? I just got this big old vision. Guys, I want everybody on this call to succeed. I just really do. And I hope you guys realize that. If you ever meet me, you'll know. But Empower Network comes from a good place of heart. When we started this company, we weren't thinking about, hey, how much money can we make? Because the truth is it's what all these weenie-ass gurus are doing. You know what I'm saying? How much money can we make? No, they're not weenie. They know what they're doing. I'm not disrespecting the almighty gurus or anything. But, the reality is it's not about one or two. It's about the Army. Because we realize a lot of you guys are your husbands, your moms, your busy corporate executive women, you're part-time in the evening time. You're like Kevin and Melissa. You got 500 $100 left, and you need to just slam it. You know what I'm saying? Some of you have never had any success. Some of you have a lot of success. You just burn out. You know, let's be real. For you guys on the call, you're like, oh yeah, I make $1 million a year in network marketing, and I would never do that thing. You know, these internet things. You know, you got to work hard. Let's be real. You're burnt out. Don't be an ass. I mean, look, I know what it's like to be on the phone all damn night and day. I know what it's like. Look, if you're out there preaching the dream and living a nightmare, you know, can you be real for a minute, you know, about it? We teach something different here because we want you to build a business and have a life at the same time. We want you to live the lifestyle. We want you to live the lifestyle, live the dream, to live the passion. So, you know, guys, let's create a story. Let's do that. There's 2 more people I'm going to bring out here, and then we're gonna let you guys go. And if you ain't all in yet, just get all in. Just do it. You know, if you say, well, why should I do it? Well, you should do it because you're not a wussy. That's why. If you're asking that question, you're saying, well, why should I do it? There's 2 types of people asking that question. Number 1 is a wussy who's looking for a reason not to do it, and then number 2 is just looking. They're just a badass, just waiting to come out, just looking for a confirmation of their decision. Look, we're not going to walk away from you. We're going to be here with you all the way to the top, fighting for your dreams, fighting for your ability to create the results that you want, and we will not leave you. So my wife wants to share something. Now, my wife, you know, we've been married now for 5 years, coming up here this Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday or something like this. You know, so she's been my partner, best friend. She lived in a van with me, you know what I'm saying? We used to, you know, like have this little cooking stove with the propane gas thing in the van we lived in. Probably wasn't very smart, you know.
That's when we were rich, though.
No.
For the most part, we had to do campfires.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I worked for Greenpeace at the time. I was rich, hitting up people on street corners. You know what I mean?
And I took dinner over a campfire.
Love you. Here.
Oh. That was an abrupt change. Hi, everybody out there online, or on the phone, I guess. So I just wanted to share with you, I'm reading this book right now, and it's called Your $1 Million Story. And I have watched my husband share his $1 million story of living in our van. And I've watched him share a few other $1 million stories. So, you know what, it took him a long time to get to where he's at and to be where we're at. And how he did it is he created his stories. He went as far as he could to create that. And our $1 million story is that we lived in a van. And I know everybody out on this call has things in their lives, excuses and reasons not to go to the event. Everybody has them. And here's the thing. If you want that $1 million story, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to the event in Austin. You're going to go there because that's going to create for you your $1 million story. So if you really, truly, deeply want to be rich and wealthy and free, you're going to be in Austin, and I'm going to be speaking there. I don't do a lot online because I'm kind of shy, but occasionally my husband gets me up to go for events. So I will be speaking in Austin to all of you, and I hope to see you there, and I am looking forward to some more millionaires out there, and maybe you're going to be one. So I hope you're going to be one. So we have another guest whose daughter has finally given him permission to spend some time with you. He's really important. He's the father of Haley, whose birthday is today, and we all need to wish Haley a happy birthday because we love her. Bailey, sorry. Saying Haley because I'm tired. So everybody out there wish Bailey a happy birthday and give her lots of love. And anyway, I'm going to hand the phone over to my husband so he can introduce the fabulous, wonderful, you all know who it is.
Hey, Dave Sharp, you on the phone, buddy? I don't know if he's still on, actually, because it's his daughter's birthday. If not, we'll just let everybody go. Is he still on? Anybody know? Oh, he's not on anymore. Hey, so guys, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to end the call with a couple of instructions for you. You know, tonight was, I think, a long call, but I don't really know because I was just fascinated by all these stories. 2 hours? That's it? Oh, that's nothing. I mean, for an empower. I mean, guys, let's go for another hour. I'm kidding, guys. You know, sometimes we go for 4 hours on these calls. You never know what's going to happen, but we speak from the heart. It's what we do. And one thing you guys are going to find about Empower Network. Why is it called the Empower Network? Because we're here to empower you to succeed. We're here to empower you. And sometimes empowering you, it means sharing a story. Sometimes it means sharing our heart about where we've been. Sometimes it means calling people out on their bullshit. Sometimes we do that too. And sometimes we say that stuff, and people say, gosh, why are they so harsh on wuss bags? Well, the reality is, guys, the reason we are is because we don't accept excuses from ourselves. And that's the truth. You can be two types of people who are on this call. People who are going to make excuses. Okay? You make excuses on why you can't blog. You make excuses on why you can't advertise. You make excuses on why you can't go to the event, why you can't get all in. And there's people who decide to make things happen no matter what the obstacles are. No matter what the obstacles are. But here's something interesting that happens. Look, when you do not accept excuses from yourself, when you don't accept excuses from yourself, when you refuse it, when excuses are flying at you, I mean, you know, when you're down to your last $500, and by all stretch of every reason, you have every reason in the world to go out if you only got $500 left, and to make all kinds of whiny excuses. You could say, well, I can't do it because I only got $500 left. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, Kevin here, he spent his rent money, you know, to get in. Tony Rush, he spent $25 and he didn't spend the $500, and he was struggling. You know, his wife said, "Hey, how are we going to pay the rent? We got kids. What do you mean you're joining something for $25?" You know, he could have gone out and said, "You know, I've tried that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to work in Walden Books again." Look, we've all been in places where we could make excuses. You know, I could have said, "How could I succeed? I've tried this for years. You know, I was in that company, wandering around Walmart. You know, I've done home meetings. You know, I've done hotel meetings for years. You know, why do I still believe in this?" We could all make excuses. Everybody in this room has a story where they come from where they could have made an excuse. But you know they did instead of make an excuse, guys? They made a decision to make it happen no matter what. Kevin and Melissa said, I'm going to go down and I'm going to go to that event. They did. They came out and made over $100,000 in the next 6 months because they didn't just decide to go to the event. They decided that they were going to do it no matter what. Tony Rush, you know, he said, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to get in this thing, and I'm just going to market a little bit, sell a few. You know, and then a few months later, he's making $300 a day, and he says, now it's time to make a decision. He could have given up and said, you know, it's not possible to do this without grind, and he could have gone back and started a different kind of a business, started a different kind of thing. He could have made all the excuses in the world on why it couldn't have worked. You know, Rashkin, God, he had a team of 10,000 people making $4,000 a month. You think that's not an excuse on why you can't do direct sales? You think that's not an excuse? I mean, he could have gone and said, oh, I'd never do a thing like that. I had 10,000 in my team and didn't make any money. Nobody can succeed. But he didn't make any excuses. He went out there, learned some skills, started making, you know, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a month. Started being he turned into a seven-figure earner from what you would call an excuse. You know, Chris Record, you think that he can't make any excuses? I mean, here's a guy that's been through the old school companies. Here's a guy that's been through the struggle. Here's a guy that works 60 hours a week. He could say, oh, I've got 2 kids. I've got a wife. You know, I just had a baby born. You know, I can't work because I'm going to make an excuse. He could make excuses, guys. Here's the point. Everybody in this room, these stories you guys heard tonight, we've all been in a place. Now, you might not be in where maybe you don't live in a van, right? Maybe you live in a dumpster, right? I don't know. Right? Maybe you didn't build a team of 10,000 making $4,000 a month. Maybe you built a team of 10,000 making $1,000 a month, right? Maybe you built a business and were on the phone all day and night grinding it, and you were preaching a dream you weren't living, and you don't believe it anymore. And maybe you tried to blog once. You know, I blogged once, and I could make an excuse. Look, if you're going to make excuses, let me save you some time. Let me save you some time. Just quit, right? If you're going to constantly be making excuses on why you can't do the things you need to do, just save yourself time. You're never going to succeed. You can't succeed if you're making excuses, guys. Just save yourself time. Go work at Safeway. Look, here, I need broke people around me. Here's why, right? Because my house would never get clean if there weren't no broke people in the world. Because I'm not going to clean it, right? I need a pool guy. I need, you know, a lawyer. You know, I need people to wash my car and clean my clothes. Because, you know, I'm going to tell the truth, guys. I ain't going to wash my own clothes. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that anymore because I want to pay people to do it. So if you want to be broke and, you know, we pay you a job in customer service maybe in Empower Network. You move down to Florida, you know, we'll pay you a customer service position here, whatever. I don't even know what we pay. I don't know how many employees we have. I think 40 or something. Some of these leaders were around when I said, hey, Jerry, you know, how many employees we got, you know, at the office. But, you know, the fact is, guys, you want to come, you want to get a job, or well, okay, go get a job, make an excuse, just quit now, right? But if you got a dream, don't ever give up on that dream. There is a way to get what you want. There is a way to live the life that you want. If you believe that you're here for more, you are here for more. And that hope in you, that's the wild man. That's the wild woman. That's the person who says, you know, is it possible to just live like I want? Is it possible to have your cake, eat it too, you know, while you're, you know, floating down a raft, you know, and just goofing off like Lawrence Tam does all day? Is it possible Is it possible to put down the phone and pick up the paycheck? You know, is it possible to not be branded and still make more money than the gurus do? Is it possible that you can get what you want? I'll tell you something, if I can do it, you can do it. And sometimes people say, Dave, oh, come on, you know, you're like this animal. Well, I failed for years. Some of you guys, you're complaining, and you didn't get bent for the failure that I had. I mean, I was in something for 3 years working every night, all night, and I think the best check I ever had was $800. $500 was paid out in a bonus check, and then I spent $1,000 more on products that month. So my best month was negative $700 in that company for 3.5 years, right? So some of you guys, you didn't go through that. Some of you guys are making $1,000 a month, and you're struggling a little bit, and you're trying to get it going, you know, and you're complaining. Well, stop being a wuss bag. This is the easiest damn thing you've ever been in your life. Just keep going, because it is possible to get what you want. Maybe you need to change a little bit. Maybe you just a little bit, but don't you dare quit. Now, I'll tell you one thing about my wife. My wife always believed in my dreams, you know what I'm saying? See, some people, you know, they got a nagging spouse, a nagging husband, a nagging wife. I'm going to be a crab in a bucket. I'm going to tear you back down and the truth is they're just trying to protect their spouse. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, your spouse goes out there and does something crazy, you know? They go out there and they failed in 8 things, and you want to say, no, just get a normal job and let's be safe. Well, you know, they got a dream, right? They got a dream. My wife always believed in me. I remember I wanted to quit once because I've wanted to quit lots of times, guys. And she said, don't be a goddamn wussy. You know what I'm saying? You got a dream, right? Don't you guys give up on your dreams, and if you do, why don't you just get a tattoo on your forehead, say wuss bag, I hate my family, right underneath your eyebrows, right? Tattooed on your eyelids, so, you know, as you're going to bed, looking your, you know, wife in the eyes every night, you know, she can remember that you're a quitter, you know? But it's the truth, guys. You don't make excuses. If you've got a dream, you make it happen. And if you struggle, you make it happen anyways, and you make a decision that you're going to do it no matter what. This room is proof that you can do it, is my message for you tonight. So, guys, see you at the event. Looking forward to it. And we're going to teach you how to release your inner badass. Love you guys, really do. I want everybody here to succeed in a massive, massive way. And let's lock arms. Let's fight the force of evil. See you in Austin, Texas. Oh, hey, let's unmute the lines and everybody shout out and scream out. You guys scream out, everybody!